Chapter 3370. Who else wants to give it a try? Lin Xian's gaze swept across his surroundings. Suddenly, the surrounding experts all retreated and lowered their heads. No one dared to look at Lin Xian. Even the little sword saint had been defeated by him. They probably wouldn't be able to defeat him. What a bunch of trash. Even if they can't defeat him one-on-one, they should be able to find an opportunity to attack him as a group. A disdainful sneer came from afar. When the experts heard it, their faces turned red, and they trembled with anger. Damn it! Who dares to insult us? Who is it? Come out! I'll kill you with my axe. A hot-tempered half-saint snorted, and his terrifying voice resounded like thunder. The others also snorted. What right does a sneaky person have to talk about us? Bang, bang, bang. However, as soon as these people finished speaking, they were hit in the face and directly fell into the void. Their faces had been smashed and their bodies were trembling. A figure appeared. How dare you talk back to me? There's no need for you to live. As he spoke, the heads of those people were instantly cut off. The half-saint's blood dyed the sea red. Suddenly, the surrounding people gasped and shrank their necks in fear. They quickly retreated like crazy. Who is this person? He's too terrifying. They originally thought that the person who mocked them was nothing, but now it seemed that they were wrong. This person was very powerful. The little sword saint's pupils shrank, and his face turned pale. It seems that someone powerful has come. However, this method is a little too bloody. Lin Xian and Yan Ryu also frowned. Who's so arrogant? Killing people just because of a few words? One had to know that he didn't kill any half-saints when he fought with these people. The person who came is probably not a kind person. I said that you're trash, but you didn't agree. Now, who dares to refute me? The figure appeared. He stood in the void with his hands behind his back and asked faintly. No one dared to talk back to him because the 3 half-saints who talked back were all killed instantly. It's you, Lingzi. The little sword saint exclaimed. Yes, it's me. That person stood with his hands behind his back. His body was translucent, which was very strange. When the others heard this, their scalps went numb. Was it Lingzi? No wonder he was so powerful, and his methods were so vicious. Lingzi was an extremely terrifying expert in the Dark Knight Divine Palace, and his methods were extremely cruel. He was good at assassination. He had taken the life of a half-saint with a single strike. It was even rumored that Lingzi had killed a saint-level expert before, although it was an assassination, and it was said that the saint was injured. This was a clear indication of Lingzi's strength. Lingzi glanced at the little sword saint and coldly snorted. To think that you were called the little sword saint. Who would have thought that you would lose so miserably? The little sword saint's face darkened as well. Lingzi, don't be so arrogant. Do you know who I'm facing? He is Lin Wudi. Can you compete with him? Invincible Lin? Lingzi's eyes shone with a black light as he stared straight ahead. The corners of his mouth curled up into a cold smile. Like I said, if we can't fight one-on-one, then let's attack together. He could always find an opportunity to kill him. Attack together? The little sword saint sneered. Against such a person, the human wave tactic was useless. That was indeed the case. For example, once he used the 10,000 sword art, tens of thousands of sword chi would be unleashed. No matter how many people there were, they couldn't block it. This was absolute strength. However, Lingzi laughed. An ordinary half-saint couldn't do it, but if it was someone like me, even if it were a group of sages attacking together, do you think Lin Wudi would be able to withstand it? He was just called invincible. He wasn't really invincible. What? Hearing this, the little sword saint's pupils constricted. The surrounding people were also frightened. Could it be that Lingzi wasn't the only one who came this time? Was there another group of people who were on par with Lingzi? Heavens, was there really such a team? Yan Ryu whispered, Be careful. They seemed to have come prepared. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and looked around with a cold expression. But now he couldn't leave, because the Crimson Dragon and the North Demon were still absorbing the power of the saint blood in the blood-colored vortex. He had promised the two of them that he would protect them, so he had to do it. I want to see who dares to come and go against me. He snorted coldly. Is that so? You're too confident. A cold voice sounded. The Tao patterns between heaven and earth were natural and unrestrained. The surrounding seawater surged, and a terrifying vacuum appeared. It was a complete law. A saint had come. The surrounding people retreated crazily, their bodies trembling nonstop. They didn't expect a saint to descend. Moreover, he was working together with Yu Lingzi. Cloud Saint? Cloud Saint? Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and frowned. The other party's appearance surprised him, because back in the Demon Cultivation Valley, he used a trap to lure the other party into the demonic pool and suppressed him. He originally thought that it would take at least a few hundred years for the other party to come out. He didn't expect the other party to come out so early. You're quite lucky. Even the demonic pool couldn't drown you. But you still dare to provoke me? Fine, I'll kill you with my own hands. Lin Xian glanced at Cloud Saint and didn't pay attention to him. The surrounding people spat. Was this the normal tone of a half-saint and a saint? What kind of joke was this? A normal half-saint would tremble in front of a saint like them. However, Lin Xian didn't seem to be trembling at all. He even threatened to kill the saint. Cunning brat, you dared to set me up last time and let me enter such a dangerous place. Do you think you can kill me like this? You underestimate a saint too much. Not only did I come out, but I also profited from the disaster and obtained a treasure from the demonic pool. I'll use that treasure to torture you to death later. Everything you have will be mine. The law divine chains on Cloud Saint's body kept swaying, forming a sacred domain that shrouded the area in front of him. You can't catch me. Who else is there? Come out. A golden light flashed in Lin Xian's eyes. He realized that there were a few powerful auras around him. That's right. Cloud Saint isn't the only one here. There are a few others who want to meet you. Yu Lingzi sneered. Please come out. The little sword saint frowned. The other party used the word please, which meant that the following people were not ordinary. At least, they weren't comparable to Yu Lingzi's tea. It was even possible that there were other saints. In the distance, a few more figures appeared. Their auras were incomparably powerful. The little sword saint was shocked. The surrounding people were so frightened that they knelt on the ground and even trembled. Oh heavens, who are these people? These people were all top-notch experts. Who was it? Who was it that gathered them together? Could it be that they came for the same purpose? To kill Lin Wuti? But why is it so coincidental? Chapter 3371. Among the three newcomers, the one in the north was a huge man. He was covered in dragon scales and had dragon horns on his head. He looked mighty and extraordinary. The dragon blood surged, causing the hearts of countless half-saints to beat wildly. His name was Longshan. On the west side, there was also a domineering man. His aura caused the world to tremble. He was an expert from the Eight-Wind Hall, desolate overlord. The man on the east side was slender and had a scholarly face. He was dressed like a scholar and even had a book in his hand. He had a strong scholarly aura. He looked like a scholar who had come to the capital for the imperial examination. No one wanted to snatch him away. His name was Sikong Jing. Although he looked like a scholar, he was able to stand beside Cloud Sky Saint. It was enough to show that his strength was extraordinary. There was another person standing far away, with a cold smile on his face, not daring to approach. The surrounding half-saints sucked in a breath of cold air. Oh my heavens, these are all top-notch experts. With Cloud Sky Saint, even the other saints would not be able to escape from such a lineup, let alone Lin Wuti. Lin Wuti was probably going to die. The little sword saint was also very nervous. If such a lineup was to fight him, Even if he had 10 lives, it would not be enough. Little sword saint, do you want to join forces? Yu Lingzi looked forward. The little sword saint's face was gloomy, but then he said, if you don't join forces, I won't interfere. He quickly retreated. Forget it. It's okay to lose you. The few of us will be enough. These people were very strong and confident. If they joined forces, Lin Wuti would not be able to escape death. It seemed that there was going to be another big battle. Yen Ryu took a deep breath. Her beautiful eyes shone with seriousness. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He did not forget to look at these people. Instead, he looked at the figure in the distance. Yen Nantian. He snorted coldly. It was indeed the other party's doing. However, what surprised him was that he saw that it was not Yen Nantian's real body, but a clone. It seemed that this guy was afraid of dying again, so he only dared to send a clone to watch the battle. You guys were called over by Yen Nantian, right? I wonder what benefits he gave you guys to actually make you guys attack at the same time. However, you have been deceived by him. He has already been killed by me several times. Even if you join forces, how can you be my opponent? I'll give you a chance. Get out of my sight, and I'll spare your lives. Otherwise, once we start fighting, don't blame me for being impolite. Impolite to us? Long Shan sneered, his eyes filled with disdain. On the other side, Desolate Overlord scoffed coldly. You are too naive. You killed Yen Nantian, and we admit that you are strong, but so what? Every single one of us here is basically capable of contending with Yen Nan's heaven. Even if he couldn't beat him, he wouldn't be too far off. With so many of us working together, even Yen Nantian was defeated by us. You are no exception. The heavens have a good life. As long as you give me the Tao stone you obtained, I can consider leaving. Right at this moment, Si Kongjing also spoke. His gaze was steady, his voice was steady, and his body still did not carry any terrifying aura. However, Lin Xian furrowed his brows when he heard those words. You want my Tao stone? Are you kidding me? I won't give it to others. Since we can't come to an agreement, then let's fight. I want to see what kind of ability you have to dare to kill me. He took a step forward, and the aura on his body became violent and terrifying. His 9-yang divine body shone brightly, and rays of sword chi shot into the sky. At this moment, Lin Xian seemed to have become a peerless god of war. Beside him, Yen Ryu also walked out, her body emitting a terrifying aura. She did not touch Zhu Qinglian. Instead, she placed it near the blood-colored vortex to ensure the safety of the Crimson Dragon and the Northern Demon. This kid's life is mine. Cloud Sky Saint stood out and stared coldly at Lin Xian. Then I will play with this beauty. Yu Lingzi had his eyes on Yen Ryu. Long Shan, Desolate Overlord, and Si Kongjing stood there without moving. Their eyes flickered as they looked at the two with a cold smile. The scalps of the surrounding people went numb. How could they fight? There were too many of them. Cloud Sky Saint alone could restrain Lin Xian. No matter how strong the peerless beauty beside him was, could she block the attacks of the other experts? It was impossible. She would probably be defeated in an instant. Seeing this, Lin Xian was not worried. He turned his head to look at Yen Ryu. She would use her doppelganger. She could create a few doppelganger. At this point, his eyes shone with a piercing cold light. With a wave of his hand, endless fragments of the law of water gathered and absorbed the essence of the void sea around him, forming a water doppelganger. On the other side, he once again formed a metal doppelganger and an earth doppelganger. Lin Xian formed 3 doppelganger in an instant. The 3 doppelganger were surrounded by the law of water, and it was piercingly cold. Yen Ryu also formed a blue doppelganger that was covered in ice. It was an ice doppelganger. Lin Xian fought Cloud Sky Saint. The metal doppelganger fought Desolate Overlord, and the earth doppelganger fought Long Shan. On the other side, Yen Ryu's ice doppelganger fought Si Kongjing, while Yen Ryu targeted Yu Lingzi. In an instant, Almost everyone had found their opponents. At this time, only Lin Xian's water doppelganger was left. The water doppelganger merged into the void sea and quickly charged forward. He was very fast. His target was Yan Nanshan's doppelganger in the distance. He wanted to kill him first. In an instant, the water doppelganger rushed forward. Humph! Cloud Sky Saint, Longshan, and the others frowned. How dare he send so many doppelganger to deal with them? Was he looking down on them? They thought that even if Yan Nanshan's real body came, they would not be afraid. But now, Yan Nantian had only sent his doppelganger, which made them feel humiliated. Damn brat, I'll destroy your doppelganger in an instant, then capture you and make you suffer a fate worse than death. Their faces were extremely cold. They were all peerless experts who could laugh proudly in a region. When had they ever been looked down upon like this? Cut the crap. Let's do it. Cloud Sky Saint made the first move. He did not care how many doppelganger Yan Nantian had. His target was Yan Nanshan's real body. So in an instant, Cloud Sky Saint rushed out and shrouded Yan Nantian. A terrifying aura spread between heaven and earth. This was a true law. The terrifying aura instantly shattered the surrounding seawater, and the terrifying aura made the hearts of the experts in the distance beat wildly. They quickly retreated. Once these people started fighting, it would definitely be earth-shattering. Kill! Lin Xian roared, and the other doppelganger moved quickly. His real body was like an overlord, and his voice was like thunder shattering the surrounding space. Sword Qi rushed out of his body like a heavenly sword, sweeping in all directions. At this moment, he was extremely powerful. What a terrifying Sword Qi! The little sword saint retreated far away. He was extremely shocked when he felt the aura. It seemed that Yan Nantian had not used his full strength when fighting with him previously, because he could not block the Sword Qi now. This person was really too terrifying. Although he did not comprehend the law of sword, his sword principle was not inferior to his at all. Moreover, his strength far surpassed his. Chapter 3372. In front of him, a violent collision sound rang out. Lin Xian was extremely powerful. The great destruction spear in his hand was constantly brandishing, colliding with the Sky Saint domain. The entire underwater world shook violently. He was like a peerless sword god, splitting the world apart. Sky Saint's expression changed. He realized that his saint domain was actually shaking, as if it could not suppress the other party. This was too unbelievable, because when he fought with the other party in the Demon Cultivation Valley, the other party seemed to be afraid of him. Therefore, he used a trap to lure him into the demon altar. At that time, he thought that the other party was not his match at all. But now, it seemed that the other party's strength had become so strong that he was almost unable to suppress the other party. Damn it, what happened to the other party? Why did his strength change so drastically? Thinking of this, his expression became even more gloomy. The other party was too terrifying. Why did his talent seem even more terrifying than Yan Nanshan's? He estimated that in a few years, the other party would surpass him. At that time, it would be as difficult as ascending to the heavens to kill the other party. Therefore, this was almost his last chance. The laws on Sky Saint's body became more and more biting cold. He quickly waved his saint domain. In the saint domain, there were countless clouds surrounding it, bringing with it an unparalleled pressure. Those clouds might look ethereal, but they all contained killing intent formed by laws. Lin Xian fought with it, shaking the world. This power was too terrifying. The two fought fiercely, and the people in the distance were all stunned. Heavens, this Lin Wuti could actually fight with a saint. It was unbelievable. The other battles were equally shocking. Yan Ruyu was fighting against Yu Lingzi. Yu Lingzi appeared and disappeared mysteriously, but Yen Ryu's sky frost palm caused the surroundings to be covered in ice. Anyone who approached her was frozen. For a moment, Yulingzi could not get close. The other people's performance was equally terrifying. Desolate Overlord was like a peerless overlord, swallowing mountains and rivers with his palms. The one fighting against him was Lin Xian's metal avatar. The metal law on his body was extremely sharp, like a peerless divine sword. He continued to charge around violently, and it was hard to tell who had the upper hand. Courting death, Long Shan was incomparably berserk. With a long roar, the dragon's roar shook the 9 heavens and 10 earths. The powerful force could destroy everything. The physical bodies of the dragon clan were strong to begin with, and this Long Shan was an expert of the dragon clan. It could be said that his life and death were astonishing. However, Lin Xian's law of earth was also incomparably powerful. The body formed by the law of earth carried a heavy power. Every punch was powerful enough to crush mountains and rivers. The two sides were also in a deadlock. This scene stunned everyone. How could this be? Long Shan and Desolate Overlord were both at the peak of the half-saints. Their strength and power were enormous. If he was only able to fight to a draw with his opponent's clone, how terrifying would his opponent's true body be? However, there were also experts who frowned. No, that wasn't an ordinary clone. Didn't you all notice? Lin Wudi's avatar represented a single law. Clearly, he had mastered many laws. What was condensed now was a body of laws, and its power was unparalleled. It was probably not much weaker than his main body. The only drawback was that it could not be condensed for a long time. What? That was terrifying. Thinking of this, they sucked in a breath of cold air. Currently, Lin Wudi had displayed the law of metal, the law of water, and the law of earth. Then, the other party had at least one law in his hands because he was fighting with Cloud Firmament Saint. Didn't this mean that the other party had comprehended at least 4 laws? Moreover, there might be more. Thinking of this, they were extremely shocked. This Lin Wudi was too amazing. One had to know that laws were very difficult to comprehend. It was already very difficult for them to comprehend one. Moreover, to comprehend the depths of the Tao, it would take a lot of time and energy. Therefore, very few people could comprehend multiple laws. Even if they did, it would be in 2 complementary formats. There were also some who comprehended multiple laws, but they focused on one law while the others were supplementary. However, looking at Lin Wudi, it seemed that every law was very powerful. Damn it, was the other party still human? Where did the other party get so much energy to comprehend so many laws at the same time? Tao's stone. It must be the Tao stone. Didn't the other party seize a Tao stone? I guess that he might have other Tao stones in his hands. Otherwise, his other laws wouldn't be so powerful, right? When these words came out, the others were shocked, and their eyes burned. However, when they saw the intense battle in front of them, they all sighed. So, what if the other party had more treasures on him? They didn't dare to seize them. Didn't they see that Cloud Firmament Saint was almost unable to suppress the other party? Lin Xian's sword energy was really too terrifying. It was like a vast sea that rushed into the sky. Every strike caused the sacred domain to tremble. There was no other way. Lin Xian didn't hold back at all now. The great dragon sword soul increased the power of the spear of destruction, and the power of the divine body went all out. As he waved his sword, there was supreme divine power. Cloud Firmament Saint's face was ashen. He also used the law of clouds to the extreme. In the sacred domain, every inch of space was filled with peerless killing intent. Anyone below the half-saint level would be instantly killed. Even if it was a saint, Cloud Firmament Saint was confident that he wouldn't be able to walk out. However, he still underestimated Lin Xian. After 300 moves, Lin Xian used 9 suns, opened the sky to directly open the sacred domain, and flew out. Sword energy fluttered all over his body. He was like a peerless sword god. The great spear of destruction in his hand pointed forward. Old man Cloud Firmament, you're still too inexperienced to kill me. His voice resounded throughout the 9 heavens and 10 lands. In the distance, Longshan, desolate overlord, Sikong Jing, and the others' expressions all changed. Did the other party rush out of the sacred domain? He was too powerful. Although they were confident that they could contend with a saint, they were directly enveloped in the sacred domain. They probably couldn't come out and would very likely die. But now Lin Xian had forcefully opened up his saint region. This shocked them. And what made them even more angry was that they couldn't kill these clones in a short time. These bodies of laws were really too strange. They could actually contend with them. Die. Cloud Firmament Saint roared. The other party actually pierced his sacred domain. It was really unforgivable. He waved his palm, and the clouds in the sky pressed down like a mountain. The palm hit the great spear destruction and made a loud sound. Lin Xian's arm was shaken until it went numb. But soon, it was offset by a powerful force. Lin Xian's black hair fluttered, and his eyes were like divine swords. Old man Cloud Firmament, you miscalculated. I've already killed 3 saints. Today, you'll be the 4th. I'll use your blood as a sacrifice to this weapon. At this point, he stabbed out with his spear. It flew out in an instant, and the cloud palm was instantly disintegrated and dissipated. Not only that, but this mysterious force also swept towards Cloud Firmament Saint. Cloud Firmament Saint's expression changed. He felt a fatal danger. So his body gradually faded and turned into clouds, covering heaven and earth. At this moment, he seemed to have turned into a cloud in the sky, moving without a trace. No attack could hurt him at all. Chapter 3373. Clouds have no form and are incomparably ethereal. How can you hurt me? A loud voice floated down from the sky. Everyone trembled from the shock. Lin Xian sneered. You think I can't kill you just because you don't have a form? Even if you turn into a black hole, I'll still destroy you. The great destruction spear rushed out, and the power of the great dragon sword's soul erupted. The clouds in the sky were actually dispersing. Seeing this, everyone exclaimed in fear. What kind of power is this? It's so strange. Even the formless clouds can be disintegrated. Cloud Sky Saint roared and rushed out instantly. More than half of his robe was gone, and one of his arms was gone as well. Damn, Junior, how dare you hurt me? He was too angry. He had the body of a saint with a complete set of laws. How could he not be able to block an attack from his opponent? How can a half-saint be so strong? Old man Cloud Sky, didn't you get a treasure from the demonic pool? Take it out and let me see it. Otherwise, you won't have a chance. You'll die without a doubt. Lin Xian's voice was sonorous. He could be said to be extremely powerful now. At this moment, he could kill anyone who stood in his way. Cloud Sky Saint's face was gloomy. His sacred region had been destroyed. He reckoned that it would be difficult to subdue his opponent even if he used other means. Thinking of this, he snorted. All right, since you want to see it, I'll let you see it. Speaking of this, he took out an item. It was a pitch-black palm. It was very strange. As soon as it appeared, it carried a terrifying aura. The surrounding people were all sent flying. So terrifying. What is that? They screamed crazily. Longshan, desolate overlord, and the others who were fighting were also shocked. They felt threatened. That thing can destroy them in an instant. Kid, I got this thing called the demon's left hand. It was left behind by a demon saint. Do you think you can still fight against me now? Speaking of this, his palm and the demon's left hand quickly merged. The demon's left hand seemed to have turned into a black glove, perfectly fusing with Cloud Sky Saint's hand. After that, Cloud Sky Saint's aura increased tremendously. He threw out a palm strike, and the surroundings instantly turned pitch black. The terrifying power instantly engulfed Lin Xian. With a bang, Lin Xian was sent flying. Many cracks appeared on his body. Ha ha ha! Are you still a match for me? The Cloud Sky Saint laughed out loud. He was too excited. Previously, he had used all his strength but was unable to injure his opponent. He did not expect that after taking out the demon's left hand, he would be able to injure his opponent. If this continued, he estimated that he would be able to kill his opponent in less than 10 moves. The surrounding people were also stupefied. What was going on? That left hand was too terrifying. Yan Ryu, who was fighting, also frowned. She felt a chill run down her spine. The left hand of the devil was indeed very powerful. Lin Xian stood up. His god body radiated a blinding light that healed his wounds. His expression was somewhat cold. He did not expect that the other party had actually obtained such a treasure. But so what? He unleashed the 13 green lotus swords, which produced a terrifying sword light that swept forward. Its power was stronger than before, but it didn't matter what effect it had. The Cloud Sky Saint sneered. The power of the demon's left hand is not something you can imagine. This thing has an extraordinary origin, so you can die in peace now. The Cloud Sky Saint raised his left hand again. His hand was pitch black like a devil's, and there were strange demonic runes on it. When he slammed his palm down, the energy was extremely terrifying. With a boom, he shattered all the sword chi and charged towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian executed the Kuan Peng movement technique and quickly dodged the attack. However, his aura was still tumbling. Indeed, the left hand of the devil was very terrifying. You actually managed to dodge it, but how many more moves can you make? The Cloud Sky Saint revealed a sinister smile. He was like a cat playing with a mouse. He did not attack directly. Instead, he turned around and attacked Lin Xian's bodies of laws. Boom, boom. The golden Dharma body and the earth Dharma body were both shattered. In fact, even the water clone in the distance started to split apart. However, at the final moment, the water clone self-detonated. The energy also destroyed Yan Nanshan's clone. It could be said that both of them perished together. Not only that, but the Cloud Sky Saint also slammed his palm down. The left hand of the demon also shattered Yan Ruyu's ice clone. At this moment, all the clones were destroyed. The Cloud Sky Saint looked at Longshan, Desolate Overlord, and the others. His cold voice rang out. All of you attack together and capture that woman. I want him to see with his own eyes that the woman he loves dies for him. His voice was too cold. Longshan and the others also had a cold expression. Previously, they did not care about the Cloud Sky Saint and thought that they could fight against him. But now, the Cloud Sky Saint had used the left hand of the demon. This power was too terrifying. They had no choice but to move towards him. Otherwise, the other party would kill them with a single slap. Therefore, they joined forces and surrounded Yan Ryu. Longshan, Desolate Overlord, Yulingzi, and Sikong Jing surrounded Yan Ryu. This scene made the people in the distance break out in cold sweat. They knew that this beautiful woman was probably going to die because no one could escape the siege of these 4 experts. Yan Ryu was in an extremely dangerous situation. Longshan sneered. Little girl, we did not want to bully you. But unfortunately, since you are with Lin Wudi, you can die. Heavenly Dragon Fist. Longshan roared. A terrifying power surged from his body, as if a giant dragon was attacking. 8 Desolation Palms. Desolate Overlord also made his move. His attack carried an indomitable aura. This palm strike was basically able to shatter everything. Hee. A fatal blow? Well, I'll kill you in one move. Yulingzi slammed out a purple dagger. It was like a ghost. It disappeared in an instant. He had used an assassination technique. The last one, Sikong Jing, also sighed. He gently closed the scroll in his hand and said loudly, Milky Way, 9 heavens. Suddenly, the void split open and 9 Milky Ways rolled down. Each of them could easily kill a half-saint. The 9 Milky Ways roared and rushed towards Yen Ruyu. The 4 of them actually used their ultimate moves in an instant. Obviously, they wanted to kill Yen Ruyu in one move. It's over. The people in the distance did not dare to watch anymore. This was definitely a scene of death. Kid, I'll let you see your woman die in front of you with your own eyes. Cloud Sky Saint's expression was cold as he stared at Lin Xian to prevent him from saving Yen Ruyu. Lin Xian did not make a move at all. Instead, he sneered. Die in front of me? Humph, the ones who will die will be you. He was not worried at all. Yen Ruyu could even kill a saint, let alone 4 people working together. Sure enough, with a boom, the 4 people's terrifying abilities were about to devour Yen Ruyu in an instant. Just as everyone thought that Yen Ruyu was going to be torn apart, a terrifying azure light rushed out from within Yen Ryu's body. After he got rid of Lin Xian, he would study Yen Ruyu and see what was so special about her. Brat, it seems like your woman won't help you. Since it's like this, go to hell. Cloud Sky Saint stretched out his left hand. He slapped forward, and a terrifying demonic light spread out. The entire sea region was enveloped by the demonic light. It was a scene of destruction. It's over. That Lin Wuti is dead for sure. That's right. That beautiful woman could block it, but it didn't mean that Lin Wuti could block it. The demon's left hand was too terrifying. Even a stage 1 saint couldn't block it. That Lin Xian definitely couldn't block it either. Cries of surprise could be heard. Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes, and a cold light burst out from his eyes. He waved his hand, and the great dragon sword soul roared. It turned into the 10,000 dragons picture and charged forward. Boom. In the next moment, the two collided. The shocking collision caused the entire sea region to split open. In all directions, there were terrifying cracks everywhere. Many people were even sent flying by this force. What? He blocked it! The remaining experts screamed. Long Shan and the little sword saint's eyelids twitched because they realized that the 10,000 dragons picture had blocked the demon's left hand. The two were in a stalemate in the void, and terrifying black holes appeared around them. This Lin Wuti was too terrifying. He actually had a way to block such a terrifying demon's left hand. Many people gasped. However, Long Shan screamed. This was the 10,000 dragons picture. Damn it. He could actually summon the 10,000 dragons picture. This was an extreme weapon. Could it be that he had seen the 10,000 dragons picture before? He was really crazy. When the others heard this, they were even more shocked. Indeed, Lin Wuti was too mysterious. Cloud Sky Saint's expression also became extremely ugly. He blocked it? How was this possible? Die for me! With a roar, he mobilized all the power in his body and used it on the demon's left hand. Instantly, the 10,000 dragons picture shook violently. Many cracks appeared on it, and it suddenly split open. However, the cracked 10,000 dragons picture released a sword chi that completely destroyed the energy of the demon's left hand. Lin Xian took 2 steps back. However, this time he wasn't injured. He looked at the other party and smiled. Your trump card is indeed powerful, but unfortunately, it can't do anything to me. Can't do anything to you? You're too naive. Now, die for me. I don't believe that you can use that kind of divine ability again. Cloud Sky Saint revealed a sinister expression. He could still use the demon's left hand many times, but the other party's 10,000 dragons picture? He didn't believe that the other party could use the 10,000 dragons picture repeatedly. That kind of illusion wasn't an ordinary divine ability. Even if a saint created it, it would be very difficult. Not to mention, the other party was a half-step saint. Hearing this, the surrounding people fell silent. The demon's left hand was terrifying, and Cloud Sky's saint was a true saint. His strength definitely surpassed the other party. This time, Lin Wuti was most likely going to be in big trouble. Sure enough, when the demon's left hand slapped out again, everyone was horrified. They discovered that the demon's left hand's power didn't weaken at all. Lin Xian shouted coldly and summoned the 10,000 dragons picture again to fight against the demon's left hand. A shocking collision occurred and countless black holes appeared. 2 times, 3 times, the two of them collided a total of 5 times. In the end, cracks appeared on Lin Xian's body again. He spat out large mouthfuls of blood. Golden blood dyed the surrounding sea red. It couldn't be helped. The demon's left hand was really too strong. It was really heaven-defying for him to be able to block it. "Ha, kid, let's see how long you can last." Cloud Sky's saint attacked crazily. He swallowed large amounts of pills and natural treasures to maintain his strength. Do you think you're the only one with natural treasures? Lin Xian took out 2 king herbs and ate them. They were both 10,000-year-old king herbs. The moment he ate them, the blood in his body rumbled. It was like a furnace of heaven and earth, like a volcano. His strength rose again. The sword chi on his body continued to explode. "Do you think that I only have the 10,000 dragons picture?" Lin Xian sneered. Chapter 3375. He used the 10,000 dragons diagram with one hand. With the other hand, he waved the great spear of destruction and pointed it upwards. The seawater kept surging, and a black hole appeared. Sword chi interweaved, forming a sword chi sky. "What's that?" Everyone looked up at the sky, not understanding what Lin Xian was going to do. But soon they screamed. Could it be? Their hearts were trembling. What's wrong with Lin Wuti? How can he evolve such a divine ability? The sword chi trembled, and a crack suddenly appeared. Then countless sword chi interweaved, forming a pagoda. That pagoda was too mysterious and terrifying. It made people feel like it was not something from the human world. That's the hidden immortal pagoda. Isn't that Yan Nanshan's peerless divine ability? Why is he using it too? Long Shan and the others screamed crazily. They were no longer in the mood to fight. They all retreated into the distance and stared blankly at the scene. Cloud Sky Saint's pupils constricted. How is this possible? It must be an illusion. He must be deceiving me. He wanted to use the demonic left hand to dispel the illusion in the sky, but at that moment, Lin Xian's 10,000 dragons diagram was pushed out. The 10,000 dragons diagram was also extremely terrifying. Other than the demonic left hand, Cloud Sky's saint could not resist it at all. Even his sacred domain could not block the 10,000 dragons diagram. Therefore, he had no choice but to grit his teeth and attack the 10,000 dragons diagram first. In his opinion, Lin Xian was already barely able to evolve the 10,000 dragons diagram. How could he also evolve the hidden immortal pagoda? Therefore, he did not believe it. However, when the hidden immortal pagoda descended, Cloud Sky Saint's expression changed. He knew that he had guessed wrong. He could actually evolve the hidden immortal pagoda. He wanted to retreat, but it was too late. The hidden immortal pagoda hit him hard. A bloody hole appeared on his body, and his internal organs were all shattered. Cloud Sky Saint screamed crazily. His flesh and blood regenerated again, and he was as good as new. However, his face was a little pale. At that moment, the hidden immortal pagoda's second attack came. With a boom, half of Cloud Sky Saint's body, including his head, was directly blasted into pieces. Only a pair of legs stood there. Of course, his left hand was also there, emitting a pitch-black light. When the surrounding experts saw this scene, they gasped in shock. The phantom of the hidden immortal pagoda was too terrifying. Even the body of a sage could not withstand it. It couldn't be helped. Both the 10,000 dragons portrait and the hidden immortal pagoda were extreme weapons that belonged to emperors. Furthermore, the other party had used some kind of powerful means to conjure it up. Judging from how lifelike it was definitely no ordinary illusion. It was normal for a first heaven sage to not be able to block it. The little sword saint muttered to himself. His eyes were filled with shock. Long Shan and the others also became frightened. Was this the kind of person they wanted to kill? This was too terrifying. No, he had to act quickly. He had to kill the other party. Otherwise, the consequences would be endless. The four of them looked at each other and immediately attacked. Long Shan transformed into a huge dragon and stretched out his dragon claws. Desolate Overlord struck out with his 8 desolate 6 closed palms, his powerful aura looking down on everything. Yu Lingzi directly concealed himself in the void, sneaking in to assassinate. Sikong Jing shouted from above the sea. The Milky Way descends from the 9 heavens. The bright moon above the sea. The surrounding people exclaimed again. They had seen the Milky Way descends from the 9 heavens before, but they were also very familiar with the bright moon above the sea. Legend had it that this was the sacred domain of a very powerful sage. Why would it be conjured by the other party? Could it be that this Sikong Jing was also like Lin Wudi and could conjure all kinds of strange phenomena? They were really shocked. However, the little sword saint said that the sage's sacred domain was indeed the bright moon above the sea. However, it was different from Sikong Jing's. Sikong Jing cultivated the righteous qi of heaven and earth, so he could naturally conjure some strange phenomena. So that was how it was. The surrounding experts suddenly understood. However, at this moment, there was a shocking change in front of them. The 4 experts had joined forces to launch a sneak attack. Lin Xian had just used 2 of his ultimate techniques and didn't have any power to follow up. Boom, 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 boom. A monstrous light enveloped Lin Xian. Everyone held their breaths. Would Lin Wudi be injured? Perhaps he would be killed. Could it be that Lin Wudi had blocked the Cloud Sky Saint's attack and died at the hands of these 4 people? Everyone was looking forward to it. Even the little sword saint's heart was in his mouth. Hee, you're dead now, aren't you? Yu Lingzi sneered. Humph, you're too confident. You didn't die at the hands of the sage, but at least you're worthy of your reputation. Long Shan sneered as well. Sikong Jing and Huang Batian also secretly heaved a sigh of relief. Lin Wudi was still alive, which was a huge pressure for them. The 4 of you are really despicable. It seems like you've mastered the art of sneak attacks. However, do you think that the 4 of you can kill me with a sneak attack? Suddenly, a cold voice rang out. What? Yu Lingzi screamed. Long Shan and the others' eyelids twitched wildly. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. What's going on? That's Lin Wudi's voice. Damn it, could it be that he's not dead? But how is that possible? Even a sage would be seriously injured if he was ambushed by them. If he's not dead, he might be seriously injured. They comforted themselves. However, when all the energy disappeared, they were completely dumbfounded because they realized that there were no cracks on Lin Xian's body. How is that possible? Is he really not injured? At this moment, Yu Lingzi raised his hand and looked at his dagger. In the next moment, he was scared out of his wits because there was not a single drop of blood on his dagger. Not only that, there were a few cracks on it. Although it was small, it was like a bolt out of the blue in his eyes. Not good. Retreat quickly. This person is a monster. His physique is probably stronger than an ordinary sage's. The 4 of them quickly retreated. Boom. However, it was too late. The 10,000 dragons portrait directly blasted the 4 of them away. The 4 of them were instantly torn into pieces, their bodies turning into a bloody mist. Some of the bloody mist was even destroyed by the 10,000 dragons portrait. No, damn it. Stop, you can't kill me. I was wrong. The 4 of them screamed, crazily. However, at this moment, the hidden immortal pagoda in the sky fell and was about to destroy the four of them. However, at this moment, Cloud Sky Saint made his move. He snorted coldly and attacked with the left hand of the demon again, blocking the hidden immortal pagoda. The remaining four of them were wrapped in the remaining blood and fled into the distance. Although they were seriously injured, they could still recover with their strength. The four of them directly tore through the void and fled into the distance, not daring to stay any longer. Lin Xian did not chase after the four of them. Instead, he stared at Cloud Sky Saint because, in his opinion, the four of them were weak. They were just ants. Chapter 3376. Cloud Sky Saint's face turned green because he realized that Yen Ryu was also looking at him. Damn it! I can't even defeat one Lin Xian, and now I have to add Yen Ryu to the mix. He said, "Kid, if you have the guts, let's fight one-on-" Lin Xian laughed loudly. "What did you say? You want to fight one-on-one with me? Do you have the guts to say that? I'm a half-saint, and I'm very young. What about you? You've lived for 1,000 or 2,000 years, and you're a saint. Where did you get the guts to say that?" The surrounding people's mouths twitched. Indeed, if a saint said to a half-saint, "Let's fight one-on-one," it would be bullying. Wasn't this bullying? He reckoned that the saints would lose all their face. As expected, Cloud Sky Saint's face darkened when he heard that. However, at that moment, Lin Xian laughed loudly. "Don't worry, I'll be merciful and fulfill your wish. I can still kill you one-on-one. You're courting death. Arrogant kid. Go and die." Cloud Sky Saint was completely enraged. To tell the truth, saying that he wanted to fight one-on-one made him lose face. However, compared to his life, he didn't care about losing face. As long as he could kill Yen Ryu, he would still be a saint, and Yen Ryu would be a lonely ghost. The demon's left hand struck out fiercely, while Lin Xian controlled the illusions of the two extreme Dao Emperor weapons to fight against it. In the end, after 36 moves, Cloud Sky Saint's body was smashed apart again. Only the demon's left hand was still intact. At that moment, Lin Xian directly waved the 10,000 dragons diagram and rushed forward. The dragon sword soul roared and transformed into countless sword lights. This time, it went all out and quickly wiped out Cloud Sky Saint's blood. Cloud Sky Saint was so scared that he peed his pants. If it was anything else, he wouldn't be afraid because he was a saint. However, when the dragon sword soul appeared, he was so scared that he peed his pants. The piercingly cold sword chi caused his saint's blood to be constantly wiped out and disappeared. If all of his blood was wiped out, he would really die. Hence, he fled like a madman. His blood scattered into countless pieces and flew in all directions like a rain of blood. However, the great dragon sword spirit was even more powerful. It transformed into countless beams of sword chi. In the end, Lin Xian formed a seal with his fingers, and a sword seal was imprinted in the void. This scene was the same as the little sword saint's 10,000 sword art. Countless sword chi trash rushed out together with the seawater of the void sea. Cloud Sky Saint screamed. Most of his saint blood had been destroyed. The remaining saint blood would not be able to escape. However, before Lin Xian could do anything, Cloud Sky Saint screamed. His remaining blood was absorbed. "No, damn it, what's going on?" He screamed like a madman, and the people around him were stunned. Did Lin Woody use some powerful means again? Lin Xian also stopped and frowned. He did not use any techniques, so what was going on with Cloud Sky Saint? It was the devil's left hand. He finally discovered that terrifying demonic runes had appeared on the left hand of the devil. He sucked the rest of the sacred blood into his body. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. Even Cloud Sky Saint let out an angry roar. Damn it, how could this happen? He was really shocked. After he obtained the devil's left hand from the devil altar, he was overjoyed. With his strength, he could continue attacking continuously. Moreover, he had many treasures on him that could restore his strength at any time. Hence, the devil's left hand was like a sacred weapon to him. As long as he was not dead, he could use it. However, he realized that he did not understand the devil's left hand at all. At the last moment, the devil's left hand had absorbed his blood. What was he trying to do? Was he trying to come back to life? Or was he trying to do something else? Or was it something that was controlled by someone else? Cloud Sky Saint did not know that the last of his blood had been absorbed by the devil's left hand. As for him, he had disappeared into thin air. In the end, he did not die in the hands of Lin Xian. Instead, he died in the hands of his own weapon. Looking at this scene, the surrounding people were stunned. Previously, they were envious of the devil's left hand. But now, the devil's left hand was floating quietly in the void sea. However, no one dared to step forward. Buzz. Lin Xian raised his golden hand and grabbed the devil's left hand. Then he pulled it in front of him and looked at it carefully. What a magical item. It could even kill a saint. He cast a few seals and sealed the devil's left hand. He felt that this was a treasure. He had seen it before. Cloud Sky Saint was not as strong as him, but after taking out the devil's left hand, he could injure him. This was definitely a godly weapon. If used well, it would not be weaker than a sacred weapon. Yen Ryu frowned. This item is weird. Are you sure you want to use it? Lin Xian smiled. It's fine. I'll study it first. Anyway, I can't leave this good item to others. He kept the devil's left hand. After that, Lin Xian and Yen Ryu started to wait. The surrounding people also started to move away from them. They were all watching from afar with bewilderment. Nobody dared to move forward. Even the little sword saint had left because he had suffered a huge blow after watching this battle. After about half a month, the blood-red whirlpool slowly disappeared. The dark red divine dragon and the North Beast's figure also appeared. The two of them laughed excitedly when they came out. The crimson dragon roared. This is great. The demon saint's blood is indeed useful to Ben Huang. Ben Huang is almost at the saint realm now. The dragon blood in his body is unusually strong. On the other side, the North Beast smiled satisfactorily. His thousand beast body was even more mysterious. Obviously, the blood-red whirlpool had given the two of them great rewards. The group left again. Everyone had gained something. Lin Xian also obtained the Water Daoist Stone. So, he was left with one last target. That was the statue of the great saint. However, Lin Xian did not know where it was at the moment. But thinking about it, the statue of the great saint could suppress the terrifying demonic qi. Even the Langius star wanted it. It was definitely an extremely precious treasure. If there was one, it must be in the deepest part of the void ocean. So, the group identified the direction and set off towards the depths of the void ocean. On the other side, Long Shan, Huang Batian, and the others fled quickly. They only heaved a sigh of relief when they realized that no one was chasing after them. Then, they used their trump cards and treasures to recover their bodies. The four of them were extremely pale, without a trace of blood. The recovery this time had damaged their foundation. It seemed that after returning, they would have to go into seclusion for hundreds of years to completely recover. Damn it, how could that guy be so powerful? Long Shan gritted his teeth. Huang Batian and the others also looked gloomy. Si Kongjing's expression was cold. However, at this moment, his eyebrows twitched because his family's sound transmission array rang. After hearing the sound transmission, Si Kongjing's expression changed. Everyone, I have something to do. I'll take my leave first. Then, without waiting for their response, he controlled a few Milky Ways and quickly shuttled through the sea. Soon, he disappeared. Chapter 3377. What's wrong with this guy? Yu Lingzi frowned. Could something have happened? Longshan also said coldly, "What could have happened? It was probably something related to their family." Huang Batian said, "The Sikong family was not ordinary. It was rumored that the space-time family had come this time to find their family's saint's relic. It was rumored that a very powerful saint of the Sikong family had entered the void ocean and even opened up a space. It was said that he had left behind countless treasures. This legend had been circulating in the Sikong family. Therefore, every time the void ocean opened up, the Sikong family would send a large number of powerhouses to explore. This time was no exception. Looking at Sikong Jing's expression, could it be that his family had discovered some breakthrough? It's really possible. Why don't we follow them and take a look? Yu Lingzi suggested. Longshan and Huang Batian also nodded. The three of them hid their auras and flew into the distance. Sikong Jing flew very fast because he was extremely excited. Just now, the formation sound transmission was indeed given to him by his family. Moreover, the content made his blood boil because they had finally found the relic left behind by their saint. He was too excited because there was a legend that had been circulating in his family since he was born. Basically, Sikong Jing would hear the elders of his family mention this legend every few years. Therefore, Sikong Jing was very familiar with this legend. It was said that the Sikong family used to be very powerful and was a top family. There was a saint in the family who had cultivated to the great saint realm. A great saint was the pinnacle of the saint realm. He was only one step away from the great emperor realm. Such combat strength was enough to laugh at the starry sky. However, for some reason, this great saint had suddenly gone to the void ocean when he was at his peak and never returned. Since then, the Sikong family had suffered a disastrous decline. Although it was still a big force now, it was not comparable to its heyday. Later, it was rumored that their great saint did not die but opened up an independent space in the void ocean. It was rumored that he had established his own force. Therefore, the Sikong family had been searching for the spatial treasure left behind by the great saint for so many years. This time, they had found an important clue, so they hurriedly summoned Sikong Jing. Thinking of this, Sikong Jing's speed increased. Finally, after flying for about 3 days, Sikong Jing finally arrived at his destination. In front of him, there were many people standing there. Those people were the powerhouses of the Sikong clan. They were gathered together at this moment, and there was an array beneath their feet. Everyone was trembling with excitement, as if they were waiting for something. When Sikong arrived, they raised their heads. He was here. Everyone looked at Sikong Jing. Sikong Jing also asked Elder, "Have you already found the clues? Why haven't you started?" "I was just waiting for you. Your bloodline is pure. We need your blood plus ours to activate the spell formation and connect to the clues left behind by us great sages." Okay, Sikong Jing didn't refuse. He directly cut his palm and dripped his purest blood onto the formation. The surrounding powerhouses of the Sikong clan also cut their palms, and all the blood dripped down. The formation beneath his feet also lit up with a crimson light. The surrounding sea started to tremble violently. In the next moment, a shocking muffled sound rang out and almost overturned all the powerhouses from the Sikong clan. What happened? Sikong Jing's eyes widened, and his face was pale. The eyes of those experienced powerhouses lit up. It was done. They finally found the clue. Before they finished speaking, more and more rumbling sounds rang out and spread out in all directions. "Oh no, it's too loud." Sikong Jing's expression changed. However, those experienced powerhouses said, "It's okay. We've already set up the formation to cover the sky." But before they finished speaking, the surrounding formation shattered with a bang, and an increasingly violent aura swept out in all directions. "Damn it, this force is too strong. It's destroying our preparations and the formation we set up. It'll probably attract others. What should we do?" Should we stop it? Or should we set up a new formation and try again? Someone suggested. However, those powerhouses said, there's no other way. Once this thing is activated, it's out of our control. We can only resign ourselves to fate. Besides, even if other people are attracted, so what? Our Seacombe clan isn't afraid of anyone. This belongs to our clan. Would others dare to take it? Speaking of this, a cold, murderous intent burst out from their eyes. The surrounding Seacombe clan martial artists all calmed down and waited patiently. Behind them, Long Shan and the other two stopped, looking bewildered because they felt an extremely terrifying aura in front of them. There seemed to be an illusion between heaven and earth. What's that? They widened their eyes because they found that a pagoda had appeared in the sea. It was a blue pagoda, and it looked very similar to the illusion of the hidden immortal pagoda. At first, they thought that it was Lin Wudi or Yen Nantian fighting there. However, after careful identification, they found that it wasn't them. That blue pagoda wasn't the hidden immortal pagoda, which made them sigh in relief. What kind of pagoda is this? Could it be that the treasure in the void sea has been discovered? It was very likely that it had something to do with the Seacombe clan. Thinking of this, Long Shan and the other two were ecstatic. They sped up, lurked more carefully, and rushed forward. At the same time, the people in the surrounding sea also felt it. They felt a violent fluctuation and thought that there was an underwater earthquake. However, in the next moment, they saw an illusion of a pagoda in the endless distance. It was indomitable, as if it was going to pierce through the entire sea. Heavens, what's that? The aura is too terrifying. Is it the hidden immortal pagoda? No, it's not the aura of a battle. It's a majestic aura of righteousness. A rare treasure of heaven and earth must have appeared. Hurry up and charge. Such a treasure is definitely at the level of a sage. Not only that, it's definitely not left behind by an ordinary sage. Even those sages would be jealous if they saw it. At this moment, the Vermilion Bird Palace, Dark Moon Temple, Dragon Valley, Eight Wind Palace, and all the other major forces moved out. The surrounding families and powerhouses also moved out. They had no choice. They had been here for so long, but they had never seen such a phenomenon in the Void Sea. Lin Xian and the others naturally saw it as well. Instantly, their faces were filled with shock. What a powerful energy wave, an aura fluctuation. And this phantom, it's too frightening. They could see it from so far away. The North Demon and the others were just right. Lin Xian was overjoyed. Wasn't this direction the depths of the Void Sea? Moreover, looking at this scene, it was very likely to be related to the great sage statue. He said, "Let's speed up and take a look. Perhaps we can find some unexpected clues." Chapter 3378. By the time Lin Xian and the rest arrived, 5 days had already passed. Countless experts and family clans had already appeared. Their gazes were all fixed on the blue pagoda in front of them, and in front of them stood a group of people staring coldly in all directions. Those people were from the Seacombe family. They looked as if they were facing a great enemy. To be honest, they didn't expect the great sage pagoda's illusion to attract so many people's attention. And there were too many people. They had been full of confidence before, but now they were full of bitterness. If it were just one or two forces, they would definitely be able to hold them off. But there were too many people now. A single smear could drown them. But they weren't too worried, because if there really was a treasure, these people wouldn't gather together to form a force. They would definitely fight for themselves. And when that time came, the Seacombe family would still have a huge advantage. More importantly, this was a treasure left behind by their ancestor. They had the power of their bloodline. This advantage was too great. Thinking of this, they all calmed down. between heaven and earth, the blue pagoda became more and more solid. In the end, it really seemed to appear that majestic aura made everyone feel that they weren't facing a pagoda, but a supreme immortal mountain. They couldn't help but want to tremble and worship it. What was going on? Some of the newcomers were baffled, but there were also some experts from the big families who looked solemn. One of them said, "I think it's very likely that this is a great sage pagoda." The people around the great sage pagoda gasped. The title of great sage wasn't just for show. Only an extremely powerful sage could become a great god. Every great sage was an earth-shattering figure. They were all candidates who had the potential to become great emperors. But a great sage pagoda had appeared. The surrounding people's eyes instantly burned with passion. The Crimson Dragon, the North Demon, and Yen Ryu were also very surprised. Lin Xian took a deep breath. Could it be that the statue of the great sage was in there? Was that what he was looking for? What an unexpected surprise. But what was going on with the Seacombe family? How could they be so close and not be affected? The surrounding people also wanted to go forward, but when they felt the majestic power of heaven and earth, they didn't dare to go forward. If he tried to break through, he would probably be torn to pieces. This was because another strong cultivator from the Seacombe family's great sage tower had spoken. What? As soon as these words came out, the surrounding people immediately went crazy. How was it possible that the Seacombe clan had a great saint? The Seacombe clan had a supreme saint. Would they still be with them? The Seacombe clan had indeed produced a great sage. Moreover, it was a very terrifying great sage. However, that great sage had disappeared for hundreds of thousands of years. That was why the Seacombe family had declined. Even so, it was still a very terrifying family. One could only imagine how terrifying their clan's foundation was. Yes, I've also heard rumors that the great sage of the Seacombe family disappeared after entering the Void Ocean. The Seacombe clan had always wanted to enter the Void Ocean to investigate for tens of thousands of years. Every time the Void Sea opened, they would frantically search for it. Who would have thought that they would finally find it this time? Lin Xian and the others were shocked. They didn't expect there to be such a secret. It seemed that the statue he was looking for was the statue of the great sage of the Seacombe family. After all, it was impossible for the Void Ocean to have two great sages. That would be too shocking. Kid, it seems that this is the target you're looking for. However, the situation isn't good. There are too many people here. The dark rainbow divine dragon muttered softly. Lin Xian shook his head slightly. With their strength, they wouldn't be afraid of anyone. Besides, they only wanted a statue and not their great sage inheritance. They probably wouldn't care. There were probably many treasures inside. When the time came, there would definitely be a big fight. At this point, Lin Xian looked around. He saw Seacombe Jing, Long Shan, Huang Batian Yulingzi, and the others. However, he frowned slightly. He didn't see Yan Nantian. How could it be? How could Yan Nantian not appear in such a scene? Or was it that Yan Nantian had already arrived? However, Yan Nantian had used a secret technique of the great emperor to disguise himself and appear near him. Thinking of this, his gaze turned gloomy. Did Yan Nantian also know how to hide? Previously, Yan Nantian was incomparably strong. He didn't hide his strength and directly used the divine beast phantom and the 9 great emperor runes. The aura that he emitted made it obvious that he was the successor of the great emperor. However, Yan Nantian was hiding his strength. Perhaps he was traumatized after being killed a few times? Humph! Lin Xian snorted. Whether it was a sneak attack or a head-on confrontation, Lin Xian wasn't afraid of Yan Nantian. Yan Nantian was probably terrified of him, so he didn't care. The most important thing now was how to enter the Great Sage Tower and obtain the Great Sage statue. Everyone waited for another 7 days. During these 7 days, the phantom of the great sage tower became more and more solid. On the seventh day, it finally appeared in front of everyone. It was no longer a phantom, but a real existence. The great sage tower's terrifying sage aura was even more terrifying. Everyone retreated far away and frantically resisted. This was a great sage, a powerful existence at the ninth heaven of the sage realm. Even a first heaven sage would be scared to death, let alone a ninth heaven sage. However, the aura of the great sage tower gradually retracted. Although it was still terrifying, it was much better than before. This made everyone heave a sigh of relief. If it had been like before, no one would have been able to enter. Perhaps it was because the Seekong family was here. The great sage tower had probably sensed the aura of the Seekong family, so it didn't release the power of heaven and earth so violently. The Seekong family members stood at the front, bewildered. Although some of the younger disciples wanted to enter, they were firmly held back by the experienced powerhouses. They knew that now wasn't the time. However, while the Seekong family members didn't move, someone else did. Among them, a half-sage with mountain-like strength said coldly, "Hee, why aren't you going in?" They were really a bunch of cowards. Now that the great sage tower's aura had disappeared, it was the best time to enter. As he spoke, he stomped his foot and rushed forward like a small mountain. His target was the entrance of the great sage tower. The entrance was very majestic. It was at least 100 meters tall and 50 meters wide. There were ripples on it, and it was abnormally simple and mysterious. When they saw someone barge in, everyone's eyes focused on it. It was a half-sage with a tempered body. It looked like he was very strong. Would he be able to enter? Everyone became nervous. The tall half-sage looked at the entrance in front of him and shouted, "Then I won't be polite." Countless law fragments appeared on his body. They were like shields that firmly covered his body. This was a half-sage with the law of earth. In an instant, he arrived at the entrance and stepped in with one foot. However, in the next moment, he screamed. Chapter 3379. That was because the foot he had used to enter was instantly turned into ashes. Not only that, but his entire body was also cut into a bloody mist. Then it dissipated between heaven and earth. A semi-sage expert had been killed in a matter of seconds. It had happened in the blink of an eye. This astonishing scene had made many people hold their breaths. However, there were also some powerhouses who sneered. How could it be so easy to enter a great sage's pagoda? Everyone waited patiently. In fact, many people didn't know what they were waiting for, but no one dared to try. However, after a day, the Seekong clan made their move. They were using their own blood. Outside the great sage pagoda, especially the edge of the entrance, which was smeared with blood. It seemed that they wanted to use their own blood to gain the patriarch's approval, so that they could enter. Seeing this scene, the others felt uneasy. If only the Seekong clan went in, and the others could only watch from the outside, it would be really awkward. When that happened, they would be jealous to death. The Crimson Dragon was also a little worried. "Damn it, can we try again?" He was also a little impatient, but Lin Xian held him back. "Don't be anxious, wait, and see. There are so many people who want to make a move. We'll just watch." He wouldn't force himself. However, at this moment, when the Seekong clan's blood dyed the entrance red, a shocking change occurred. Suddenly, a vortex appeared at the entrance, and a terrifying fluctuation spread out in all directions. Everyone thought that it was some kind of attack, so they all retreated. However, Lin Xian's eyes lit up. It turned out that what appeared from the vortex wasn't an attack, but pills. One pill after another, densely packed together. There were more than 100 of them. Every single one of them was crystal clear. This was a sage's pill, possibly a pill refined by a great sage. Someone screamed, and the others all looked up at the sky. Their eyes turned blood red. Pills What a pleasant surprise. They originally thought that there was no hope of entering, but they didn't expect the Seacombe clan to cause such a change. So many pills had been spat out. More than 100 Saint pills. If he were to obtain one and consume it, his fighting prowess would increase tremendously. Even if he didn't consume it himself, he could still bring it back to the elders of his clan. Thinking about how they would be heavily groomed by their families in the future, and how they would soar into the sky, they all trembled with excitement. Hurry up and snatch it. These people were crazily trying to snatch it. Heavenly Dragon Divine Claw. The Crimson Dragon couldn't wait any longer. When he knew that this was a sacred pill, he attacked decisively. Countless dragon claws appeared in the sky. Damn it, get out of here. Many people attacked madly, but the Crimson Dragon roared and blasted them away. At this moment, the Crimson Dragon's strength had greatly increased after the cultivation of the demon blood. Lin Xian, Yan Ruyu, the North Demon, and the others all took action as well. However, when they got 20 of them, they stopped decisively. He didn't attack again, because if they snatched it all away, it would definitely lead to a group attack. With so many experts around, it would not do them any good to continue fighting. They might as well quit while they were ahead. More than 20 pills were equivalent to getting 1/5 of the total. They were already satisfied. As expected, although some people were unwilling, they still gave up when they saw Lin Xian's lineup. Moreover, there were more than 80 pills around. If they fought with all their might, they might still have a chance. In an instant, the others attacked crazily. The people from the Seacombe family also roared, "Damn it, stop. This is our item." They were truly infuriated. They had used their own blood to create this. The Great Sage Tower was originally their Seacombe family's private property, but now, who cared if it belonged to their family? The surrounding people were already jealous. It was already good enough that they didn't attack the Seacombe family directly. In the end, the remaining sacred pills were divided among the people from the Seacombe family, Vermilion Bird Palace, Dragon Valley Dark Moon Temple, and 8 Wind Palace. Only a dozen pills were left, and they were scattered in the hands of the others. They couldn't accept it. They couldn't accept it. Many people roared crazily. How could there be enough to go around? They stared ahead with greedy faces. At this moment, the people from the Seacombe family were about to enter. Because they didn't get much before, it wasn't enough to go around. So they decided to go in. Many people surrounded them when they saw this scene. The people from the Seacombe family sneered. "Can you enter? If you can't, stay here. If you dare to come out, we'll kill you." The people from Dragon Valley said coldly. The people from 8 Wind Palace also said, "Yes, you'd better cooperate and find a way to let us in. Otherwise, none of you will be able to leave the Void Ocean." His voice was extremely domineering. The people from Dark Moon Temple and Vermilion Bird Palace also looked unfriendly. The surrounding people were also eyeing them covetously. It seemed that if they couldn't enter, they would really stay here until the end of time. Seeing this scene, the young disciples of the Seacombe family looked extremely upset. The powerhouses had said that they didn't need to care about them. Just let them in. So, what if these people went in? The other party wasn't from the Seacombe family, so they definitely wouldn't have an advantage over them. Therefore, the people from the Seacombe family ignored them and walked straight ahead. The people behind him followed closely behind. Lin Xian and the others were also following closely behind. Chapter 3380. Lin Xian looked at Little White. Little White also shook its head. It couldn't see clearly. It was too chaotic. Lin Xian sighed. It couldn't be helped. Even Little White couldn't see clearly. One could imagine how powerful the great saint was. He said, "Looks like we have to split into 3 groups. How about this? I'll take one. Ruyu will take one, and you and the North Demon will take one. This way, We won't be left empty-handed. Just as the Crimson Dragon and the North Demon were about to leave, Lin Xian was stunned. He said, "Come here." Hearing this, the Crimson Dragon was stunned. They returned to Lin Xian's side again. "What's going on? What happened? Didn't they say they would each take one path?" "Kid, what did you find?" they asked. Lin Xian said, "Something's wrong. Look at Xikong Jing." He looked up at Xikong Jing and found that he was surrounded by many strong cultivators of the Xikong family. They seemed to be protecting him. "What's going on? Didn't you notice?" Previously, Xikong Jing was the one who drew blood first, and then the other families did it. This meant that Xikong Jing's bloodline might be very pure in his family. Hearing this, the North Demon and the other two took a deep breath. They knew this situation. Even in the same family, there were differences in bloodlines. Obviously, Xikong Jing's identity was very special. "Kid, do you mean we should follow that guy?" the Crimson Dragon asked. Lin Xian nodded. "Yes, we should follow them." Although the Xikong family was divided into 3 groups, it was obvious that Xikong Jing's path was the most likely to reach the destination. "He's taking the east path. Let's follow him." Speaking of this, Lin Xian strode forward. Yan Ruyu and the other 2 also took a deep breath and followed. Originally, every road was very crowded. At the moment, Lin Xian and the others were heading east, which immediately caused many people to be dissatisfied. "Damn it, get out of here!" one of the half-saints roared. He didn't even look back. He just slapped back. In this place, it didn't matter who they killed. They wouldn't show any mercy. This palm strike was extremely terrifying. The 5 fingers seemed to have turned into 5 stars, blooming with extremely dazzling light. This was the 5-star fist. Many people sucked in a breath of cold air. This was an expert. Who was it that dared to provoke such a person? In the next instant, they were stunned because they discovered that the 5-star fist was being held by a large golden hand. Crack! The fist turned into a bloody mist, and the half-saint who used the 5 elements boxing was sent flying by the slap. "Get lost!" His voice was cold and domineering. Who was it? Many people sucked in a breath of cold air and turned their heads. They saw a young man in a red robe with a cold expression. Beside him, there were a few figures with equally powerful auras. When they saw Lin Xian, many people's expressions immediately changed, as if they had seen a ghost. They turned around and left. "Hey, where are you going?" some of his companions exclaimed. "The men were so frightened that I didn't go in. They did not even turn their heads." Some of the others were also stunned. What was going on? Could it be that these people were very powerful? Not everyone had seen the faces of Lin Xian and the others. So, some people were still puzzled at this moment. Lin Xian didn't say anything, but the Crimson Dragon next to him jumped out and roared. Those who didn't want to die made way for Ben Huang. This move could be said to be extremely arrogant. Everyone present was a half-saint expert who would be willing to make way for someone else. Immediately, some people sneered. "Make way? Do you believe that I won't skin you and make you into a boot? Boot your ass!" 8 styles of the heavenly dragon, the Crimson Dragon roared, and 8 dragon shadows appeared from its body, instantly sending those who sneered flying. Those people were blasted into pieces, and blood dyed the area red. The others were also so scared that their scalps went numb. Damn, this method is too powerful, isn't it? The half-saint who used the 5-star fist earlier also gritted his teeth. "Boy, which family are you from? Do you dare to tell me your name?" Around him, 3 more experts from the 5-star sect appeared. Each of them had an unfriendly look on their faces. Countless stars appeared on their bodies, causing everyone's expression to change. 5-star alignment. The light on their bodies actually gathered together, forming a terrifying array. The 5 of them roared. The 5-star alignment was like a sharp knife rushing over. Many people around were sent flying by this force. Boom. Lin Xian opened the sky with his left hand. His golden fist was like a sun, and it quickly blasted over. It collided with the 5-star alignment. Suddenly, a terrifying force swept out, causing the surrounding people's expressions to change. Previously, they only wanted to enter the Great Sage Tower. Although there were conflicts, they didn't fight. However, this sudden surge of energy caused everyone's expression to change. They all looked over. In the sky, the golden sun directly smashed the 5-star alignment. Not only that, those experts were also sent flying while vomiting blood. Their faces were filled with horror. Not only them, but the people around them also fell down, creating a vacuum. Lin Xian led the group forward. Soon, they reached the front. In front, the Sikong family members also frowned, but they didn't care. They let the people behind them fight. It would be best if they killed each other and died together. Only the Sikong family was left. But at this time, Sikong Jing's body trembled, as if he was being stared at by a pair of eyes. The next time he turned around, he was so scared that his scalp went numb. "Damn it, it's you!" He screamed like a madman. "What's going on? Jing, who is he? Why is Sikong Jing so scared?" The experts of the Sikong family also frowned. It shouldn't be. Sikong Jing's strength was very strong. He was definitely at the top of the half-saints. Even if he encountered a saint, he could deal with them. But now, this person made him so scared. They also turned around and saw that the other party was a very young man. Was this Yan Nantian? Could it be that this great emperor's successor was already so terrifying? Or was he a saint? They couldn't understand. However, Sikong Jing's voice trembled. "Elder, hurry up and leave. He's Lin Wudi." "What? He's Lin Wudi?" The elders of the Sikong family also twitched their eyelids. They had heard of his name long ago. This was the first time they saw him. Now that they saw him, he was indeed powerful. Ordinary half-saints couldn't even withstand a single blow from him. Looking at Sikong's fearful expression, could it be that their genius had actually been defeated by the other party? Thinking of this, their faces darkened. But now was not the time for them to think too much. "Let's go." They supported Sikong Jing and sped up. "Let's follow." Lin Xian and the others followed closely behind. Soon, they all rushed forward. The people behind were stunned. God, Lin Wudi. Was that person Lin Wudi? Chapter 3381. If he entered that passage, could it be that he knew where the real passage was? Quickly go to that passage. In an instant, many people rushed over, and the battle erupted once again. "Get lost." "Damn it, I'll go in first." "Damn it, if anyone dares to enter, I'll cut them in half." The crazy battle sounded behind them, but it had nothing to do with Lin Xian and the others. Lin Xian and the others followed Sikong Jing and entered the Eastern Passage first. After flying for about half a day, they felt that the area in front of them was wide, and there seemed to be a blue light screen. When they passed through the light screen, they found that there was no passage ahead. Instead, it was a vast hall. Was this the inside of the Great Sage Tower? After entering, the Crimson Dragon and the others looked around in amazement. The inside was much wider than what they saw from the outside. As expected of the great sage's work, there was a space inside. Lin Xian frowned. Was there a natural law here? He had experienced the Devil Cultivation Valley. He naturally knew that the natural law in the Devil Cultivation Valley made some of the powers outside unable to be used. Was the inside of the Great Sage Tower that terrifying? He silently sensed the experts of the Sikong clan in front of him were trembling with excitement. "Ha ha ha, I feel it. I feel the same bloodline power as our clan. This must be left behind by our great sage." As he spoke, he turned his head and looked at Lin Xian and the others who came in later. He sneered. "What do you have to fight us here? A mere Seacombe clan dares to be arrogant in front of me? The Crimson Dragon sneered. Lin Xian opened his eyes and frowned. He had already felt that he was being suppressed. His power had been reduced by 30%. But was it a natural law? There were no restrictions. Anyone could use it. Immediately, Lin Xian reminded them to be careful. Their power had been reduced by 30%. He didn't know if the Seacombe clan had any restrictions, so they shouldn't rashly start a fight. Hearing this, the Crimson Dragon, Yan Ruyu, and the others frowned. This wasn't a good thing, but they quickly shook their heads. This was because everyone would be suppressed, not just them. Sure enough, the people who came in later also cried out in surprise. They naturally felt that the power was weaker than before and were extremely surprised. The members of the Seacombe clan all laughed loudly. Ha ha, we weren't suppressed. We weren't suppressed. Instead, we felt that our strength had increased. Me too. As expected of a great saint of our Seacombe clan. He's so protective of us. They're really too happy. Looking at the people around him, he laughed coldly. Damned ants, I'll let you know what despair is in a while. In this place, they seemed to be the masters as they laughed heartily. When the surrounding people heard this, their expressions changed. But soon, their eyes lit up. That row of bookshelves were those divine ability manuals? Someone said. He rushed over like a gust of wind. On the other side, someone asked, where are the weapons? Divine weapons? They flew to the other side. In an instant, everyone who came in went crazy. The reason for that was because they discovered that it was simply a treasure trove. Damn it, stop. This is all ours. The powerhouses of the Seacombe family roared madly and rushed over, wanting to stop them. In an instant, the battle started again. It was very intense. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He looked up at the sky because he was looking for the statue of the great saint. However, the void here was very strange. He could only see the third level. He didn't know if there was anything above the third level. It seemed that he had to go to the third level first, and then look at what was above. Thinking of this, he said, are you guys going to collect treasures here? Or go to the upper levels to take a look? Let's go to the other levels. There are so many good things on the first level. The other levels will definitely have better things. The Crimson Dragon said. The others also nodded. Lin Xian and the others prepared to go to the other levels. They weren't the only ones. The powerhouses of the Vermilion Bird Palace, Dragon Valley, and Eight Wind Palace were also not satisfied with the treasures on the first level. Along the way, they saw that the entire ground was made of top-grade metal. Even the surroundings were carved out of huge pieces of divine crystals. It was really extravagant. One had to know that divine crystals were cultivation resources in their hands. However, they were actually decorative items here. It had to be said that this state of mind was different. Just as Lin Xian and the others were about to enter the second level, the little white monkey suddenly pointed to a dark place behind the stairs. There seemed to be a strange energy fluctuation there. Hearing this, Lin Xian and the others frowned. He said, let's go in and take a look. Anything that could attract the little white monkey's attention was definitely not ordinary. They rushed in and found a secret door in the darkness of the stairs. The door was dim and hidden in the shadows of the stairs. No one noticed it at all. Lin Xian and the others turned their heads and found that no one was paying attention to them. It seemed that those people were crazily fighting for treasures. They were all in a frenzy. Let's go. Lin Xian and the others were very fast. They entered the secret door in an instant. Then the Crimson Dragon cast a few seals. After entering, they heaved a sigh of relief. Then they looked around. There was a room inside. The whole room was dark green. There was no light, but it gave off a very simple aura. There were no treasures. The Crimson Dragon lost a circle. He found that there were no pills, weapons, or manuals. He was a little disappointed. However, Yen Ryu said, "How can there be no treasures? There are circles on the walls." The Crimson Dragon glanced and found that there was a painting on all four walls. It was a landscape painting. This aura was not ordinary. It carried the aura of Tao and an extremely shocking power. Could it be that this was the work of the great sage? Thinking of this, they gasped. They could actually see the great sage's notes in person. It was definitely not a small matter. No wonder it could attract Little White's attention. It was so messy here. Let's put it away first and look at it when it was safe. The Crimson Dragon waved its claws and wanted to grab one of the paintings. However, it was bounced away by a force. Damn. It hurts Ben Huang. The Crimson Dragon gasped. Lin Xian said, "Since we can't take it away, let's study it." Lin Xian looked at the four paintings. These four paintings were all different. One of them was an endless mountain range. It was densely packed and hidden in the clouds. At the right end of the painting, there were words carved with Tao runes. The mountains were small at a glance. The second painting was of countless flowers. They were as bright as blood and had an indescribable aura. It made people uncomfortable at first glance. That painting was also carved with Tao runes. The chaotic flowers were mesmerizing. The third painting was a vast expanse of green. It seemed to be a painting of the sky. The words formed by the Tao runes were difficult to reach. Chapter 3382. The fourth painting was of two rows of mountains that stretched into the sky. Among the mountains, there was a river flowing down from the sky. The river flowed into the great desolate current. When Lin Xian and the others saw these four paintings, they gasped and looked at each other. These four paintings depicted the natural scenery of heaven and earth. But why did they feel that there was an evil aura? It should be the handwriting of a great sage. Why don't we study it? Yen Ryu said after looking at it for a while. She looked at the river flowing into the great desolate current. Then I'll look at this. The Crimson Dragon looked at the sky. The Northern Demon chose to use flowers to dazzle the eyes. Lin Xian took a deep breath and stood in front of the painting. He felt as if his soul had been sucked into the painting. He didn't seem to see that there was a brush gently touching him. In front of him was a vast expanse of white, and mountains suddenly appeared. Lin Xian seemed to be standing at the peak of the mountain. He now felt that his state of mind had changed. In his eyes, everything became tiny and insignificant like an ant. He was like a high and mighty god who could control everything. This change was really magical. It made him a little greedy and lost in it. However, at this moment, the great dragon sword soul in his body roared, causing Lin Xian to instantly wake up. What a strange painting. Although it had endless power and made people yearn for it, there was also a force that seemed to want to lock people in the mountains. Indeed, there was a hint of strangeness. However, so what if it was strange? A great sage was not someone they could understand. This ability to see how small all the mountains are really was a type of divine ability. This divine power didn't directly attack people. Instead, it used one's aura to change. Once it was used, it would be like an ant meeting a dragon. It would make the enemy tremble and unable to resist. The people of the Situ family cultivated the righteous chi. The Langistar also said that the great sage of the void ocean was a great sage who cultivated the righteous chi. He could use the righteous chi of heaven and earth to suppress the demonic chi of the Langistar. It seemed that this was the painting of the great sage. Lin Xian began to comprehend this realm with all his might. However, he remained vigilant and prepared to use the great dragon sword soul at any time. The evil aura just now was really too strange. But fortunately, under the calmness of the great dragon sword spirit, Lin Xian did not lose his mind. After an unknown amount of time, he came back to his senses and took a deep breath. Was the view of all mountains small? It was indeed magical and terrifying. As expected of the great sage's generosity, he looked at the other three and discovered that they were also infatuated. He coldly snorted, and the great dragon sword Spirit circled around them. Suddenly, the three of them woke up. Among them, Yenryu didn't seem to be affected too much. However, the Crimson Dragon and the North Demon both looked terrified. His back was drenched in cold sweat. Damn it, what's going on? What just happened? They felt a lingering fear. It was as if their souls had fallen into the abyss and would never be able to escape. Fortunately, Lin Xian had intervened. At this moment, Yenryu spoke up. There was something wrong with these paintings, even though they were the work of the mysterious Great Sage. Although they were created by the Great Sage, there was an evil power in them. Fortunately, as long as we can carefully overcome this evil power, the rest can still be used by us. At this point, Yenryu's lips curled into a smile. I've indeed obtained some good things. They're different from the previous ones. You don't say, me too. The Crimson Dragon and the North Demon also nodded. They were also extremely excited. It could be considered a mystique, but it was more like a kind of artistic conception. Once it was used, it would definitely be extremely powerful. Crack! At this moment, the paintings on the wall rolled up on their own, as if they were not allowed to look at them. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian and the others did not mind. The Great Sage's mechanisms were so ingenious. If they were not allowed to look at them, they would not even be able to look at them. Therefore, Lin Xian said, "Let's go." When they came out, they happened to meet a few people who wanted to go to the second level. Immediately, they stared at Lin Xian and the others. Damn it, how did they get to that place? Was there anything there? These people instantly surrounded them. Many of them endured it and found that there were only a few paintings around, but they were hung up. They tried for a long time, but they could not open them. Instead, they were sent flying by a force. Other than that, there was nothing else. Damn it, they must have taken the treasures. The surrounding people roared crazily. One of the sages had an extremely cold expression. Damn brat, speak. What did you get? Hand it over, and I'll spare your lives. There were also two clones of the sages who laughed sinisterly. Why waste time talking nonsense with them? Just capture them, collect their souls, take their bodies, and take away their storage rings. There were more than 10 figures around them, and they pressed forward together. Among them were the sages and their clones. This aura was too powerful. However, at this moment, Lin Xian took a step forward, and an extremely cold light burst out from his eyes. The mountains were small. Countless mountains seemed to have appeared under his feet, and these mountains directly enveloped the sages in front of him. Immediately, the sages' expressions changed. Damn it, what was that? The sages roared crazily, and the surrounding people were even more terrified and trembling. They seemed to be standing at the foot of the mountains and looking up at the gods. At that moment, Lin Xian's aura was rising infinitely. Lin Xian's eyes were so domineering that it was as if he was a supreme king looking down on ants. Plop, plop. The surrounding experts all knelt on the ground and trembled. This aura was simply unstoppable. The clones of the sages felt their scalps go numb. Even the sages were sweating profusely, and their robes were all wet. He had seen such a situation before, but that was only when facing extremely terrifying sages. The brat in front of him was a half-step sage. No matter how powerful he was, he should not be able to suppress him in terms of aura. But now his entire body was trembling, and he did not dare to resist at all. Was this what it meant to see the mountains were small? The Crimson Dragon and the others were also extremely surprised. At this moment, Yenryu made a move. Then try my river flows into the great wilderness. As she spoke, countless mountains appeared on both sides of her, and there was only one large river under her feet. The river water was too violent, and it swept toward those experts in an instant. With a boom, the surrounding half-step sages were all swept into the water, and they let out miserable cries. The sages' bodies also trembled. Damn it! They gritted their teeth and roared crazily. However, the river was too terrifying, and it kept retreating toward them. They had to run. These people were too strange. The sages took the lead to escape, and the others were scared out of their wits. Trying to escape was harder than ascending to the heavens. The crimson dragon roared and soared into the sky. A blue sky appeared below it, as if it was the firmament that enveloped these people. These people found it difficult to move. Damn it, why couldn't they move? They were all stunned. What kind of method were these people using? Could it be that this was the treasure they obtained in that room? Chapter 3383. Haha, look at my mesmerizing flowers. The North Demon also walked out. His 1,000-demon body shone brightly. With a wave of his hand, countless beautiful flowers bloomed around him. The petals danced in the air, forming an illusory formation. The half-saints inside were all stunned. They seemed to be lost in it. Some of them even laughed foolishly. However, behind the illusory formation was a terrifying, murderous intent. The petals suddenly turned into peerless hidden weapons that pierced through their foreheads. Even the saint was hit and let out a miserable cry. He desperately burned his saint blood and rushed out of these strange scenes before escaping without a trace. One of the two saint avatars exploded and escaped with the power of self-destruction. However, the other one was left behind. It was surrounded by countless beautiful flowers and couldn't escape at all. The remaining powerhouses were either dead or injured. The four of them used their new ultimate moves. The power was extraordinarily terrifying. Ha ha ha! This feels so good. The Crimson Dragon kept roaring. He was too excited. Lin Xian was also shocked. Although he knew that it was powerful, he was still shocked when he used it against someone. Even a saint couldn't resist it. The great saint's work was too powerful. He didn't know if it was carved or drawn casually. If it was drawn casually, it was definitely extraordinary. Let's go! Lin Xian and the others retracted the vision and walked towards the second level. They didn't know if there were any treasures left behind by the great saint. When they reached the second level, they stopped. They found that the second level was filled with seawater. It wasn't ordinary seawater. It should be the essence of the void ocean that had been refined by the great saint. Therefore, it was abnormally terrifying. At this moment, it was like a heavenly river that blocked their path. It was the water of the Milky Way that blocked everyone's path. For a moment, no one dared to go forward. However, after Lin Xian and the others arrived, many others arrived. When they saw the Milky Way in front of them, they sneered. What's the big deal? Let me do it. Two water-type half-saints came out. They moved quickly, and fragments of the law of water rose from their bodies. Then they laughed loudly and walked forward. In an instant, they seemed to have turned into water gods. They were extremely agile as they entered the Milky Way. However, as soon as they entered, they let out miserable screams. The Milky Way water stirred and swallowed the two water-based half-saints. Then there was no more sound. Everyone was so scared that their hair stood on end. The newcomers felt their scalps go numb. Two half-saints died just like that. Moreover, he was a half-saint who was proficient in water. Heavens, what kind of water is this? Someone in front sneered. Do you think we won't go if it's so easy? This is something refined by the great sage. How can you imagine it? The person who spoke was a sage. After the others heard this, they didn't dare to be arrogant anymore. They all waited silently. However, at that moment, the people from the Seacombe clan moved. It's almost done. We can go now. They used the blood to surround themselves and then walked forward. Sure enough, he was fine. On the other side, the experts from Vermilion Bird Palace, Dragon Valley, Eight Wind Palace, and Dark Moon Temple also made their moves. They didn't have the bloodline of the Seacombe clan, but they seemed to have found a flaw. Everyone's path was very winding. It was as if the Milky Way in front of them was an array. As long as they passed through it cleverly, they wouldn't be injured. The people behind also tried to enter, but most of them didn't know the mystery inside at all. So, they were swallowed up in minutes. Of course, there were also a few sages who relied on powerful weapons and strength to forcefully resist. The remaining people had extremely ugly expressions. Those who could pass were all powerful sages or top sects like Vermilion Bird Palace. The others didn't have such strength. Could it be that they would be trapped here for the rest of their lives and could only watch those people fight for the treasure? They were unwilling to accept this. However, at that moment, a few people said, "Get out of the way. We want to pass through the Milky Way." Hearing this, the others all turned their heads. 4 figures walked out. The 4 of them had their backs to them, but they all looked very young. Such people dared to cross the Milky Way? What kind of joke was this? Who were these people? Did they have a death wish? Yes, they weren't sages at all. Moreover, if they were disciples of a top sect like Vermilion Bird Palace, they would have followed them. The people in front of them were obviously itinerant cultivators. Everyone sneered. They looked at the backs of the 4 people, ready to see how they would die. However, the 4 people ignored them. Among them, Lin Xian said, "What do you think? Did you see it clearly? We have a rough idea, but it'll take some time to study it carefully. I think with our strength we can still resist it for a while." Lin Xian nodded and said, "Rosalong, use the heaven-crippling chessboard as a formation. We'll support you in battle and force our way through." The Crimson Dragon instantly played the heaven-crippling chessboard. Immediately, Lin Xian and the other 2 jumped on it and flew towards the Milky Way. There are really people who don't know what's good for them. The people behind sneered. Soon, they were stunned because they discovered that the person could block the Milky Way's water and was quickly crossing the Milky Way. That was an array formation. They were using an array formation. Get on that array formation quickly. We can follow them. Suddenly, hope rose in everyone's heart. Previously, whether it was Dragon Valley, Ba Huangdong, or the sage, they did not dare to talk to them. But now there were only 4 of them, and they were using an ingenious array formation that made them tempted. In an instant, many people rose into the air. "Kid, take me over, and I'll give you a weapon. Let me go up, and I'll teach you a superpower for free. Kid, you'd better let us go up obediently. Otherwise, we'll pull out your tendons and rip your bones out." Some of them were trying to lure him, but most of them were threatening him. In their opinion, with so many of them, it would be easy to threaten him. Hearing those voices, Lin Xian did not even turn his head. "Come up if you want to die. Scram if you don't want to die." Oh my, what an arrogant tone. The people behind were furious. Although they could not cross the Milky Way, it did not mean that they were weak. Those who could enter this place were all powerhouses with tricks up their sleeves. At that moment, they were being berated by a young man who did not even turn his head. Was he looking down on them? In an instant, those people were furious. "Damn it, let's join forces and capture this kid. Let's make them use the array formation to help us cross the Milky Way." Immediately, 8 powerhouses jumped out. Their bodies emitted rays of light that swept across the entire space. The 8 of them cast 8 seals and sealed the entire space. They want to seal Lin Xian and the others. Chapter 3384. "Humph, do you want to die?" Lin Xian snorted and turned his head. His qi and blood were like dragons, and an extremely terrifying sword will gushed out and swept in all directions. That aura was so terrifying that everyone's expression changed. They seemed to have an illusion that they were not facing a young man, but a saint. At that moment, Lin Xian had truly unleashed his power. His black hair danced wildly, and his eyes were like divine swords. The sword aura on his body was like a dragon. It let out a terrifying roar and directly shattered his seal. The 8 experts who were about to attack immediately stopped. Their hearts were filled with shock, and their bodies were trembling. He was too strong. He was actually able to shatter the seal that they had formed together in an instant. The others screamed, "What? It's him! Lin Wuti! That person is Lin Wuti!" The surrounding people sucked in a breath of cold air. The 8 experts who attacked were about to cry. They dared to cause trouble for Lin Wuti. Were they tired of living? They quickly shook their heads. "Lin Gongzi, we were wrong. Please spare us, Lin Gongzi." 2 of them even knelt on the ground and kept kowtowing. When the other 6 saw this scene, they also knelt in the void. Their hearts twitched. If Lin Xian wanted to kill them, it would be a piece of cake. They could avoid death, but they could not escape punishment. They would lose 100 years of cultivation. Lin Xian flicked his finger. A sword wave rushed out and hit the 8 of them. The 8 of them screamed and retreated. Every one of them was injured, and there was a terrifying sword mark on their bodies. That sword had seriously injured them, and even damaged their foundation. They would not be able to recover without 100 years of cultivation. Lin Xian was too decisive, and they could not resist at all. However, the 4 of them did not dare to have any thoughts of revenge. Because their opponent was Lin Wuti, they could only thank the young master for sparing their lives. Lin Xian snorted coldly, turned his head, and put his hands behind his back. They controlled the heaven-crippling chessboard and quickly crossed the Milky Way. The people behind them were all stunned. He was too strong. He suppressed all of them with a raise of his hand. Children should be invincible like Lin Wuti. Those experts were envious. The others were also silent for a while. Yes, if any family had a genius like Lin Wuti, that family would definitely soar to the sky. Lin Xian and the others used the heavenly crippled chessboard to cross the Milky Way and head inside. Soon, they passed through the 2nd level and arrived at the 3rd level. From the looks of it, there was only one Milky Way on the 2nd level, which blocked everyone's path. After reaching the 3rd floor, Lin Xian's group stopped. The Seacombe clan and those powerhouses who had gone there before were also here. These people were all looking around, and many of them were even looking up. Lin Xian also raised his head and looked up. When he was on the 1st floor, he could only see the 3rd floor. He couldn't see anything beyond the 3rd floor. Now that he had arrived at the 3rd level, he naturally wanted to take a look what was above the 3rd level. However, after taking a look, he sucked in a breath of cold air. Above the 3rd level, there was actually a passageway. The surrounding walls were all flickering with light. They were completely made of divine crystals. There were also some rare metals, which were excellent materials for refining half-saint artifacts. It could be said that they were precious treasures in the eyes of a half-saint, but here they were casually made into walls. The method was very extravagant. The engraved patterns on the walls were also very profound, flickering with incomparably mysterious power. Even on the walls there were sunken holes, and each of them had an item placed on top. Some were weapons, some were bottles of elixirs. Some were scrolls of paintings or jade slips. It was obvious that these were all treasure stored here. Each treasure was sealed and could not be taken. Only by breaking the seal could one obtain it. The Crimson Dragon next to him also looked up and exclaimed. The carvings were magnificent, and the light made it seem like the sky was full of gods and Buddhas. Indeed, there was something at the top. Yan Ryu was also surprised. Lin Xian activated the heavenly secret godly eyes and looked carefully. The next moment his pupils shrank. Did he find it? He saw that on the 7th level, which was the top of the pagoda, there was a statue floating in the void. It seemed to be suppressing the entire pagoda. The statue was blue all over, but it was very simple and unadorned. From this angle, Lin Xian could only see the lower half of the statue, but with just a glance, he felt the vastness of heaven and earth, as if that person could suppress all things in the universe. The statue of the Supreme Saint. Yes, it must be the statue of the Supreme Saint. Lin Xian clenched his fists. It seemed that that thing was his ultimate goal. He had to find a way to get it. However, before he could do anything, the people in front turned their heads. They did not expect that there would be someone behind them. For a moment, they looked at him. Many people's expressions changed. Lin Wuti, they exclaimed. Among them, the faces of Long Shan, Yu Lingzi, and the others became incomparably ugly. However, the experts of their sex snorted coldly, and their eyes were gloomy. Was this person Lin Wuti? He was much younger than they had imagined. At this moment, a young figure walked out from the Sikong family at the front. It was Sikong Jing. Sikong Jing said, "The Sikong family is willing to join forces with the major sects and the sages. However, other than the sages and sects that are on par with our Sikong family, I don't want anyone else to appear here." When he said this, he stared at Lin Xian and the others. Immediately, everyone turned their heads to look, and a cold smile appeared on their faces. They knew that Sikong Jing's words were directed at Lin Wuti. However, they were very puzzled. With Sikong Jing's status and strength, shouldn't he join forces with all of them to deal with Lin Wuti? Could it be that there was a secret behind this? Before they could figure it out, Long Shan, Huang Batian, and Yu Lingzi also walked out. That's right, I agree. We are all the top forces. Why should we let a few insignificant itinerant cultivators come here to share the treasures with us? Why don't we join forces and get rid of them? Yes, these people are all treasures, especially Lin Wuti, who is the successor of two great legacies. A fiery light also burst out from Long Shan's eyes. The experts of the major sects all frowned. What was going on? These four young people wanted to join forces, and they wanted to join forces with all of them? It shouldn't be. After all, whether it was Long Shan, Huang Batian, Yu Lingzi, or Sikong Jing, each of them was an unruly, peerless genius. They even thought that they were not inferior to Yen Nantian. Why would such a person join forces with others? This was an extremely shameful thing. But now, not only did the four top prodigies want to join forces, but they also wanted to join forces with the veteran experts. Could it be that Lin Wuti was already this terrifying? Inside the Great Sage Tower, there was a bloodline bonus for the Sikong clan, while there was a power suppression for everyone else. In this way, the gap between the two sides would be very obvious. If no one was from the Sikong family, then it was fine. However, if they were to fight against someone from the Sikong family, they would be at a disadvantage. This was probably why Sikong Jing dared to come out at this time. Lin Xian looked ahead and sneered. "Oh, you want to fight me? You don't have such courage outside. What? Do you think you can challenge me in your family's Great Sage Tower? Do you think you are a match for me just because my power is suppressed by 30% and you have a bloodline bonus? Let me tell you, even in the Great Sage Tower, you are still no match for me." Lin Xian's words were quite arrogant. This was equivalent to directly provoking the Sikong family. The Sikong family was furious. Damn it. How dare this kid be so arrogant in front of them? They might not be able to deal with him outside, but in the Great Sage Tower, who would dare to go against them? As long as it wasn't a group attack from so many large sects, the Sikong family had never feared anyone. They did not care about a mere Lin Wuti. Fight him. Let him know the power of the Sikong family. An elder of the Sikong family said. Sikong Jing's lips curled into a smile. "Elder, don't worry. I have the same idea." He is definitely no match for me. Well, I'll take this opportunity to see what Lin Wuti is capable of. Around them, the elites of the Dark Moon Temple and Dragon Valley also looked unfriendly. They all looked at the two people in the arena, Dragon Valley, and the others narrowed their eyes. This might be a chance to use the space-time mirror to kill the other party. Thinking of this, they all looked forward to it. Damn it, this guy is too despicable and shameless. He is like a coward outside, but he dares to show off in front of me here. I really want to slap him to death. The Crimson Dragon snorted. Yen Ryu and the North Demon also frowned. Lin Xian smiled. It's okay. Let him do it. An ant will always be an ant. No matter where he goes, he will never be able to make a comeback. Does he really think that he can be bullied by shrimp soldiers and crab generals just because he is a dragon? I will prove it to him with my strength. Come on, let me see what gives you the right to be arrogant here. Lin Xian looked forward. Humph! Si Kongjing snorted. He didn't say anything. Instead, he took a step forward. Light burst out from his body and engulfed the entire space. At this moment, he was like a ruler bringing with him a powerful force. Even the surrounding Great Sage Tower became brighter. Seeing the reaction of the Great Sage Tower, the elders of the Sikong family all laughed. In their opinion, how could they lose in their territory? Milky Way fall. Si Kongjing roared. The void split open, and 9 Milky Ways descended. Each one was like a silver dragon, bringing with it a powerful aura. There was even a trace of blood-red light on the silver dragons. That was the power of the bloodline. Longshan and the others frowned. The power of the Milky Way fall was much stronger than outside. That's right. Coupled with the suppression here, Lin Wuti might really be in trouble. Yulingzi sneered. Lin Wuti's power was suppressed by 30%. If Si Kongjing's bloodline power was increased by 30%, then the difference between the two would be 6 levels. No matter how strong Lin Wuti was, he wouldn't be able to make up for the difference of 6 levels. He would definitely die this time. Oh, his power is stronger than before? Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. No one of the other party dared to be so arrogant. However, it was still not enough. Even if the other party's bloodline increased by 30%, so what? It was still not enough. He roared, and the power in his body surged. His 9-yang divine body released billions of rays of light. He waved his arm, and the powerful force turned into countless blue rays of light, forming a huge wave vortex that spun around him. The law of water? Many people frowned. The other party didn't use the 10,000 dragons diagram to attack, but the law of water. Wasn't that too careless? The Sikong family sneered. Let's see how you die later. Chapter 3386. In the sky, 9 huge cloud dragons rushed over and collided with the black vortex in an instant. They let out a loud dragon roar, as if they wanted to tear the vortex apart. However, the vortex was extremely terrifying. There was a trace of black aura in the blue light. When the black aura came into contact with the silver dragons shrunk rapidly as if they had come into contact with lightning. It was as if the vortex had swallowed up the Milky Way. In the end, the sea vortex was still spinning, but the waterfall of 9 silver dragons had disappeared, leaving only a trace of aura between heaven and earth. It was still not enough. Lin Xian shook his head with a hint of mockery. Damn it. How could it be? The surrounding people were stunned. Si Kongjing's expression also changed. His expression became extremely ugly. He gritted his teeth and said, I don't believe it. I can increase my strength by 30% here. I don't believe you can withstand it. Bright moon above the sea, he roared and activated the power of his bloodline. A bright moon appeared in the vortex of the sea. As soon as the bright moon appeared, It brought with it a powerful force that kept crushing Lin Xian. It wanted to crush Lin Xian into a bloody mist. Boom. In an instant, the terrifying moon jumped out of the sea and collided with Lin Xian. Instantly, there was a violent roar. The front was shrouded in an endless flow of energy. He hit him. That's great, everyone exclaimed. The people of the Seacombe clan even smiled. At such a close distance, he was hit by the bright moon above the sea. Even if he did not die, he would be torn apart. Let's see how arrogant this kid is this time. Is that all he has? Is this the effect of increasing his strength by 30%? How pitifully weak. At this moment, a faint voice was heard. Everyone saw a huge golden hand tearing apart all the energy. Lin Xian's body only shook in the violent collision. Then, it stabilized as usual. This scene caused everyone to scream like they had gone crazy. That's impossible. Seacombe Jing was flustered and could not believe it. If such a scene had occurred outside, he would have to admit that his strength was indeed inferior to the other parties. But now, they were in the Great Sage Tower. He had a 30% bloodline bonus, while his opponent's strength was suppressed by 30%. There was a difference of 6 levels of strength between the two of them. Could it be that he couldn't defeat the other party? This was absolutely impossible. Had the other party already surpassed him by so much? He didn't dare accept it. The others were stupefied as well. The great sex experts and elders sucked in cold breaths of air. How could it be like this? They had thought of countless possibilities before, but they had never thought of such a possibility. This was simply too unbelievable. No wonder their geniuses, such as Longshan and Huang Batian, didn't dare say anything. It seemed they really had been defeated by Invincible Lin. Furthermore, it should be a crushing defeat. Right at this moment, Lin Xian spoke. Is this the power of your augmentation? How pitifully weak. Do you intend to use such a trump card against me? No. Damn it. I don't believe it. Seacombe Jing roared, as if he had gone mad. The wind and clouds shook the 9 heavens. He waved his hands, and suddenly the wind and clouds in the void changed, as if they were going to sweep through the 9 heavens. This power was too terrifying. It could split the heavens and earth. Go to hell for me. The terrifying wind and clouds shook the 9 heavens, completely enveloping Lin Xian. This was a great mystique. It was even more terrifying than the previous 2 phenomenons. Humph! Lin Xian snorted. He directly used his fist to transform into a Kuan-Pung. The Kuan-Pung was incomparably majestic. One side was as black as ink, while the other side was as golden as light. It soared through the 9 heavens and tore the wind and clouds apart. Bang, 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 bang. Seacombe Jing also took 3 steps back. His face was pale, and his hands were trembling uncontrollably. An ant would be an ant. Even if they were in another place, they still wouldn't be able to shake the giant dragon. I'll show you how big the gap between us is. Lin Xian took a step forward and looked down at the mountains. Endless mountains appeared around him, like a bottomless abyss. Lin Xian was like a god on top of the mountain, looking down at the bottom. Seacombe Jing was shrouded by this mysterious power. He looked at the phenomenons and couldn't help but tremble. He finally couldn't help but kneel on the ground. What? Seacombe Jing is kneeling? The surrounding people went crazy. They would believe it if Seacombe Jing was defeated. But kneeling? How could that be? Seacombe Jing was a peerless genius, and he had his own pride. Even if he died, he wouldn't kneel. However, it was too strange for him to do so. The people of Seacombe Jing's family were even more shocked. A few of them roared. Damn it, Jing, what are you doing? Why are you asking him to kneel? Stand up. 2 of them quickly walked forward, wanting to take Seacombe Jing away. However, they were shrouded by this strange phenomenon as soon as they came forward. In the next moment, they felt the world spinning. The power made them float. They could hear the same sound in their ears. Damn it, this power. They were too shocked. Now, they finally knew why Sikong Jing was kneeling on the ground. This kind of floating power was simply irresistible. Bang, bang. The two of them also unconsciously knelt on the ground and trembled. This scene was like a clap of thunder, causing the surrounding people to be stunned. The members of the Sikong clan were even more shocked. Even their other two powerhouses had knelt down. What kind of spell was this? It was too strange. This brat is too strange. I suggest that we work together and take him down. An elder of the Sikong family shouted coldly. The surrounding people also nodded. The people of the Vermilion Bird Palace were the first to express their opinion. They couldn't help but want to take action. They had a strong hatred for Lin Xian. After all, he was a member of the Vermilion Bird Palace. As for Lin Xian, he had slapped the Vermilion Bird Palace hard in the face back on planet Suzaku. Now that they had a chance to hit him while he was down, they naturally had to do their part. After receiving the support of the Vermilion Bird Palace, the people of the Sikong family calmed down a bit. It looked like they really had to capture this brat. They also wanted to know what kind of secret this brat had. The powerhouses of the Dragon Valley, the Eight Wind Palace, and the Dark Moon Temple all walked over. At this moment, the atmosphere was extremely tense. Do you want to fight? Then come at me. Lin Xian laughed loudly. His aura became even more violent. It was as if the Celestial Emperor had descended. We won't bully you. Each sect will only send one person. If you can survive, then consider yourself lucky. The person from the Vermilion Bird Palace sneered. Hearing this, the Crimson Dragon was enraged. Bah, you shameless people. You still say you're not bullying? You've all lived for thousands of years, right? In total, you're almost 7,000 to 8,000 years old. You're almost 10,000 years old. You still have the nerve to attack a young junior? Also, how many of you are there? The 5 of you join forces and you still say you're not bullying? Since you're already so shameless, then admit it. The North Demon also snorted. His expression was filled with disdain. He had seen shameless people before, but he had never seen such shameless people. Lin Xian laughed loudly. Don't worry, I won't bully you. I'll give you 3 moves. Chapter 3387. Lin Xian's words were like a painful slap to the faces of the 5 powerhouses. What could they do? They were so shameless. Junior, go to hell. The 5 of them were furious. Since they had decided to act shamelessly, they didn't need to worry about anything. BZZ, that expert from the 8 Desolation Hall, raised his hand and took out an ancient mirror. That ancient mirror was incomparably simple and bronze in color. It was extremely terrifying. It was a terrifying weapon in the Ba Huang province. The 8 Desolation mirror carried a terrifying desolation aura. As it flowed, the surrounding void shattered continuously. Boom. Lin Xian didn't say anything. He raised his fist and punched. His golden fist was like a sun as it collided with the light from the Ba Huang province. An earth-shattering sound could be heard. A terrifying energy swept in all directions. At that moment, Lin Xian heard a terrifying voice behind him. Dark clouds covered the city. It was the strong cultivator from the Sikong clan. A dark cloud appeared above his head, and it contained a strange qi. It was also the strength of the earth and sky. Lin Xian smiled coldly. According to the legends, the Sikong clan practiced the qi of the earth and sky. Surprisingly, the Sikong clan practiced the qi of the earth and sky. What a disgrace to the Sikong clan's reputation. Today, I'll help the Sikong clan get rid of you. As he spoke, Lin Xian struck out with his palm, which transformed into a piercingly cold sword aura. With an insufferably arrogant aura, it slashed towards the black cloud. Boom! An earth-shattering sound spread in the air as the dark cloud was cut in half. However, Lin Xian's Sword Chi was also swallowed. What a strong physique, but you should try my strength. A loud shout rang out, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. Then, a fist that resembled a dragon head flew towards Lin Xian. Obviously, the person who had such a strong body was a strong cultivator from the Dragon Valley. You think I'm afraid of you? Lin Xian clapped his hands and blasted out another attack. This time, there wasn't any special light. It was the power of his body being used to the extreme. Boom, boom, boom. A deep voice rang out, like a muffled thunder exploding on the ground. Then the two figures retreated. Lin Xian swung his arms, and the aura on his body grew even stronger. On the other side, the powerful beings of the Dragon Valley found it hard to believe. His arms were trembling, and he couldn't lift them. He was very strong and a peerless genius, but a genius who survived was a true genius. If he died, he would be nothing. At this moment, a shadow silently appeared behind Lin Xian. Like a grim reaper, the dagger in his hand slashed across the back of Lin Xian's neck. The Dark Moon Temple would definitely kill. Lin Xian also felt a chill run down his spine. He had to admit that this expert from the Dark Moon Palace was very good at assassination. However, it was still impossible to kill him. With a cold snort, Lin Xian did not even turn his head around. Incomparable sword aura burst out from his body, densely packed together. In particular, a golden light rushed out from the back of his head. It was piercingly cold and roared like a giant dragon. With a loud boom, the dagger was sent flying. The Dark Moon Temple expert was also pierced by the sword Chi. Blood splattered everywhere. In the blink of an eye, the experts of the four great sects and families had all made their moves. However, they were unable to do anything to the other party. Instead, some of them were injured. This scene caused the expert from the Vermilion Bird Palace to be dumbfounded. He didn't even have time to attack when he saw this frightening scene. Now, it's your turn. Lin Xian took the initiative to attack. Using the Kunpeng movement technique, he attacked the Vermilion Bird Palace expert in an instant. The Vermilion Bird Palace expert trembled all over. A sense of fear enveloped his heart. However, he soon gritted his teeth and roared. Divine red blood palm. His palm turned blood red. It was the blood of the vermilion bird. The blood was incomparably terrifying. When he sent out his palm, it turned into a small blood-red world and directly engulfed Lin Xian. This was also a powerful ability. The divine red blood palm could forcibly refine a person's chi and blood. It could be said to be incomparably vicious. Let's see how you block it, kid. The Vermilion Bird Palace expert sneered. Even a saint would be injured when he sent out his palm. Those below the saint level would definitely turn into a bloody mist in an instant. They would not be able to escape. Roar. The blood-red world spread. However, a terrifying dragon's roar came from inside. Immediately, the entire blood-red world shook violently. Many terrifying cracks appeared on it. Finally, it split open with a boom. Lin Xian charged over with a sword light in his hand. With one strike, he shattered the other party's small blood-red world. Not only that, the other party's palms were also split in half. The Vermilion Bird Palace expert screamed and retreated. His face was extremely pale. He stared straight ahead. How was this possible? The other party broke his divine red blood palm so easily. In the next moment, when he saw the weapon in the other party's hand, he was stunned. The great spear of destruction. He finally screamed. The 5 of you are only SOSO. You want to kill me? You're too naive. Damn it. All of you attack and kill him. The Vermilion Bird Palace expert roared crazily. 2 more figures stepped forward beside him. Their auras were not any weaker than the first one. Not only the Vermilion Bird Palace, but the Dragon Valley, the Dark Moon Palace, the Eight Wind Palace, and the Seekong family also stepped forward. This time, there were more than a dozen experts. A group battle? The Crimson Dragon roared. Its body turned into a giant dragon and coiled in the air. The North Beast activated the body of 10,000 beasts. The sky-reaching divine tree appeared behind him. On the other side, Yen Ruyu's eyes also shone with a cold light. Kill! Someone roared. A great battle instantly broke out. More than a dozen experts fought with Lin Xian and the other three. The commotion was extremely frightening. In fact, there were even saints who were secretly making their moves. Obviously, their main goal was to capture Lin Xian. This was because Lin Xian had the most treasures on him. The two great inheritances made the saints jealous. Terrifying energy fluctuations spread down from the third floor. Fortunately, this was the Great Sage Tower. Everything was a supreme saint's relic. Therefore, even if these people attacked with all their might, they wouldn't damage it at all. However, the space inside the Great Sage Tower was torn apart. Those on the second floor, and even the first floor, could feel the terrifying fluctuations from above. The fluctuations almost made their scalps split open. It was terrifying. They were now somewhat glad that they didn't go up, otherwise the energy shockwaves would have destroyed them. Lin Xian was very powerful. He held the spear of destruction and swept it in all directions. Any theurgy that came close was directly shattered by him. However, at that moment, the gloomy laws struck his arm, causing it to tremble. The spear of destruction almost flew out of his hand. Damn it, a saint had made a move, and it was done in secret. Lin Xian looked around and looked at the remaining saints in the distance. There was a cold smile in the saint's eyes. At this moment, the sky split open. Another law palm directly grabbed at the spear of destruction. Chapter 3388. The Crimson Dragon, and the other two also roared angrily. Obviously, they had also been ambushed by the saints. If they hadn't cultivated the great sage's painting and learned these heaven and earth phenomenons, they would have been seriously injured by now. A group attack? Well then, I will make you pay a painful price today. An extremely cold light burst out from Lin Xian's eyes. He was really angry, so he didn't hold back at all. He used the Kuan Peng movement technique and dodged more than a dozen attacks in an instant. In the next moment, he appeared in front of Seekong Jing with a murderous look in his eyes. You provoked me time and time again, and you even let the experts of your family hunt me down. You deserve to die. Lin Xian waved the great spear of destruction in his hand. Seekong Jing screamed like a madman, his face extremely pale. To be honest, he had already walked out of the heaven and earth phenomenon and regained his composure. At this moment, he saw more than a dozen people attacking him, including a saint. They knew that no matter how powerful Lin Wudi was, he was doomed. This made him calm down a lot, and he even sneered. He still didn't expect Lin Wudi to be so powerful. His movement technique was so strange that he actually dodged all the attacks and arrived in front of him. Damn it, how dare you attack Jing-er? A person roared and pounced forward. It was a powerhouse of the Seekong family. However, he was kicked away by Lin Xian, and blood mist filled the air. Run. That was Seekong Jing's only thought. He didn't dare to compete with Lin Xian now, because Lin Xian's aura was too strong. Therefore, he turned into a stream of light, tore through the void, and was about to escape. However, how could he be faster than Lin Xian? The great spear of destruction slid and directly pierced through the void. It blasted Seekong Jing out. Then it pierced through Seekong Jing's heart. Ah! A miserable cry was heard, and blood flowed, dyeing the great spear of destruction red. Damn it, put it in, or I'll tear you into pieces. Kill your entire family. The people of the Sikong family roared crazily and pounced one after another. However, Lin Xian merely sneered and didn't take it head on. He executed the Kuan Peng body movement technique and swam among these divine arts. Once again, he quickly flew to the other side. In an instant, he arrived in front of Long Shan. Not good. Long Shan was scared out of his wits. He turned around and ran. Damn it, the other party had actually found him and attacked him. Similarly, he did not dare to fight head-on. Damn it, you dare? The powerhouses of the Dragon Valley were also stunned. They did not expect the other party to be so powerful after piercing through Sikong Jing. How dare he kill the prodigies of the Dragon Valley? If you dare to touch him, I'll tear you to pieces. His heart and soul were destroyed. However, this kind of threat was completely useless. Lin Xian attacked again, piercing through Long Shan's heart. Long Shan flew into the air, and a miserable cry rang out. Lin Xian dodged the dragon shadows that filled the sky and turned around again. Not good. Hurry up and protect our prodigies. The remaining experts from the 8 Desolation Palace and the Dark Moon Divine Hall also came to their senses. They retreated one after another, no longer surrounding Lin Xian. They had no choice. They could now see that Lin Xian was specifically targeting their top prodigies. Despicable, shameless. They roared crazily. If you have the ability, fight head-on. Lin Xian laughed loudly. I'm despicable? I'm shameless? You people still have the cheek to say that. You people are thousands of years old, and a dozen of you besieged a young junior like me. Now it's my turn to be despicable and shameless? Don't you like to suppress others with your strength? I'll let you juniors suffer this kind of fear. As he spoke, Lin Xian directly charged toward the people of the Dark Moon Divine Hall. These powerhouses moved out one after another. They protected Yu Lingzi as they retreated while assassinating Lin Xian. Every move was aimed at a vital point. All mountains looked small. Lin Xian struck out with the illusion of mountains, and his aura rose infinitely. This kind of heaven and earth phenomenon caused the people near him to stiffen and kneel in midair. Lin Xian punched out again, and the 10,000 dragons picture sent the remaining people flying. There was no one around Lin Xian anymore. Yu Lingzi's face was extremely pale. Stop, I didn't attack you. You can't. Before he could finish his words, he was also pierced through. His heart was split open, and his body was lifted into the Great Destruction Spear. Now Lin Xian's body was stained with the blood of his enemies. The Great Destruction Spear in his hand flickered with a bright red light. There were 3 figures on it. They were 3 peerless prodigies. They let out miserable cries, but they didn't die. That was because Lin Xian didn't kill them. Instead, he still carried the 3 of them and charged toward the 4th prodigy. 8 Desolation Palace, Huang Batian. The people of the 8 Desolation Palace frantically blocked, but it was useless. Huang Ba was also pierced through by the spear. Finally, a prodigy of the Vermilion Bird Palace was also pierced through. Lin Xian pierced through 5 people with the Great Destruction Spear in his hand. He stood in the void like a stick of candied haws. Blood continued to drip, dyeing the surrounding void red. This scene was simply too shocking. Damn brat, let go of our people. You're dead meat. I definitely won't let you out alive. The surrounding sects and families all surrounded him with ferocious expressions. Lin Xian stood there like a god fiend. His gaze swept in all directions. You won't let me go? All right, let's see if I can let your people go first. His palm shook, and an extremely cold sword intent immediately spread out from the Great Destruction Spear. In an instant, the 5 of them were all shattered, and even their souls were instantly destroyed. No, damn it, the surrounding powerhouses had all gone crazy. Dead, Sikong Jing, Huang Batian, Long Shan, and Yulingzi were all top prodigies. They were all people who could become saints and shine on the path of the great emperor in the future. But now, they were all killed together. Their hearts were bleeding. Kill him. Tear this brat into 1,000 pieces. Otherwise, it would be difficult to relieve the hatred in their hearts. These people attacked crazily. Lin Xian directly used the 10,000 dragons picture and swept in all directions. At the same time, he used the hidden immortal pagoda and kept attacking. The battle was very tragic. In the end, even the saints could not help but attack. Lin Xian was directly sent flying, and the powerhouses of the Sikong family were also sent flying with him. They directly crashed into the wall of the Great Sage Tower in the distance. With a loud boom, the entire Great Sage Tower began to shake. "Kid, are you all right?" The Crimson Dragon and the others were worried. The scene was too chaotic. "I'm fine." Lin Xian stood up. Golden blood flowed from his body, but he did not care. However, at this moment, he was surprised. Was the seal broken? He crashed into the wall and actually broke a seal, revealing a bottle of pills. Supreme Sage pills, and the quality should be very good. Lin Xian instantly grabbed it. "Damn it, let go." On the side, the eyes of the two powerhouses of the Sikong family instantly turned red. Their prodigy was dead, and now the pills left behind by their patriarch were also going to be taken away by the other party. Chapter 3389. Damn you, leave the pills behind. The Sikong clan powerhouse roared like a madman. His words attracted the attention of the people around them. Suddenly, countless eyes looked over. "What's going on? Did someone get the pills?" They turned their heads and stared at Lin Wudi and the elder of the Sikong family. It was this brat who had broken the seal and acquired a bottle of medicinal pills from a great sage. The two Sikong clan elders pointed at Lin Xian and gritted their teeth. Supreme Saint pills. The people around them all stopped and turned their heads to look. In the next moment, they saw that the seal in one place had broken. The medicinal pills inside had disappeared. In an instant, these people looked at Lin Xian again. "Kid, hand over the pills." "Damn you, kid. You dared to kill our sect's genius powerhouse. Today, I'll tear you into pieces." They hadn't suffered the pain of their genius being killed just now, but now their eyes turned red again. "It's this kid again." "Oh no." The Crimson Dragon and the others' hearts suddenly shrank. The previous incident hadn't ended yet, and now there was a new one. This time, it would be difficult to let it go. The corners of Lin Xian's mouth curled up into a cold smile. "Oh, you want to snatch the pills, don't you?" He took out the pill bottle and threw it in front of them. It was in the direction of the Sikong clan. The Sikong clan elders thought that the other party was going to throw some hidden weapon, but when they saw that it was a pill bottle, they subconsciously caught it. Lin Xian said, "I've already given the Supreme Saint pills to the Sikong clan. It's considered returning to its rightful owner, so don't come looking for me again." As he spoke, he retreated backwards. The eyes of the surrounding people all shifted away from him and landed on the two Sikong clan powerhouses. The Sikong clan elders were stunned. The surrounding powerhouses of the other clans gathered together. They all gathered together. Did they get what they wanted? That brat was indeed more sensible than others. However, even if he handed over the pills, they wouldn't let him go. "Quick, take a look. What pills are these?" asked the Sikong clan elders who rushed over. The two Sikong clan elders opened the pills, and their expressions changed instantly. "Damn it, I've been tricked. It was just an ordinary pill." In an instant, their faces became incomparably dark as they stared straight ahead. "Brat, you actually dared to switch? How despicable. Hurry up and hand over the real Great Sage pills." Angry roars could be heard. Lin Xian sneered. The Sikong clan was so arrogant. They actually dared to say that he had swapped them? Was there no great sage aura on the pill bottle? Do you dare say that it wasn't taken out from the seal? You're spouting nonsense. You must have swapped it out just now. The members of the Seacombe family shouted angrily. Lin Xian laughed and said, "Is that so?" "I just got that bottle of elixir and was called out by you. Then I became the target of countless experts. Why don't you ask the people around you? Have they noticed anything I did? Instead, it's your Seacombe clan that's being protected by countless powerhouses now. It's probably very easy for you to do something in secret. Don't forget, this is your own Great Sage Tower. You are the masters here. Now, you're wrongly accusing me, a junior. Are you shameless?" At first, everyone was very suspicious of Lin Xian, but when they heard these words, they all stared at the Seacombe clan again. Yes, in terms of combat, Lin Xian was definitely super strong. But in terms of other things, Lin Xian was no good. Of course, the Seacombe clan was the most familiar with this place. This was because previously, whether it was breaking the array or crossing the Milky Way, it was very simple for the Seacombe clan. They could do it easily with their own blood. Now that they had obtained a great sage pill, it was very easy for them to secretly exchange it for other elixirs. Therefore, everyone else froze. The Seacombe clan looked unfriendly. The Seacombe clan had better cooperate obediently. Since you have a way to open the seal, then you have a way to open the other seals as well. Hurry up and work together to share the treasures and live in peace. Otherwise, don't blame us for taking action. The experts of Vermilion Bird Palace, Eight Wind Palace, and Dragon Valley all said coldly. The surrounding saints were also glaring. "Damn it, you've been deceived." The Seacombe clan experts were so angry that they vomited blood. Their bodies were trembling with anger. Why didn't anyone believe them? He pointed at Lin Xian in the distance and said, "It's him. It's this kid who did it. It has nothing to do with us." "Oh, is that so? Then do you dare to let these experts search your storage ring?" Lin Xian said coldly. When he said that, the Seacombe clan members' expressions changed again. The eyes of the surrounding experts lit up. "Brother Seacombe, why don't you let us check it out? Otherwise, I'm afraid I'll really wrongly accuse you. Yes, even if you have a clear conscience, let us check it out. Or rather, we can work together to seize the other seals." "Damn it, what are you doing? Let's go catch that kid together. He's our common enemy. Why are you listening to him? Don't you want revenge?" "Humph. Of course we have to take revenge. Since he dared to kill our prodigies, he'll definitely die. However, he won't be able to escape any time soon in the Great Sage Tower, so I'll let him live for a while longer. The most important thing now is to seize the treasure and open the seal." Many of the experts' eyes shone with a cold light. Indeed, their prodigies were already dead. Even if they killed Lin Xian, their prodigies wouldn't be able to be revived. In that case, their thoughts would still be on them. They would obtain the treasure and increase their strength. When the time came, they would kill Lin Xian. That way, they would be able to take revenge, and they wouldn't be left behind. After all, it was every man for himself. I advise you to cooperate obediently. Yes, otherwise it won't look good for anyone if we fall out. A few of the experts said. The Seacombe clan members were so angry that they vomited blood. They pointed at Lin Xian and trembled. "Damn kid, how dare you trick me?" "Trick you?" Lin Xian sneered. What did they do before? They had teamed up with the experts of the various clans and sects to besiege him. Now he wanted these people to have a taste of being besieged. Isn't the Seacombe clan powerful? Aren't you high and mighty? Didn't you always think that the Great Sage Tower is your territory? All right, I'll let you have a taste of what it feels like to be besieged by the Vermilion Bird Palace and other top sects. The Seacombe clan members naturally knew that they couldn't become enemies with sects like the Dragon Valley. However, they wouldn't be willing to be searched even if they were beaten to death, because just now they had indeed used their bloodline to obtain many treasures on the first level. Moreover, before entering the Great Sage Tower, they had also obtained many benefits. How could they let these people search them now? At this moment, Lin Xian spoke again. I'm afraid you still don't know. On the first level, even before the Great Sage Tower appeared, the Seekong clan had already conquered many secret underwater caves. The treasures inside were all taken by the Seekong clan. Chapter 3390. The expressions of the Seekong family members changed when they heard this. The people from the Dragon Valley frowned when they saw this scene. It seemed that they had indeed obtained something good. They cooperated obediently and opened the remaining seals. They were thoroughly enraged. They had been here for so long, but had not obtained many treasures. Instead, it seemed that the Seekong family had reaped a bountiful harvest. How could they feel at ease now? How could this be? The Seekong family members were shocked. Could this kid have seen it before? But they had discovered that someone had peeked at it before. The Crimson Dragon and the others also flew to Lin Xian's side and asked softly, Kid, what's going on? Lin Xian replied telepathically. He had guessed that the Seekong family knew that there was a great sage tower here. Moreover, it was said that every time the Great Sage Tower opened the void ocean, countless powerhouses would be sent in. They must be the most familiar with the situation in the void ocean. Therefore, their chances of obtaining treasures were also the highest. Su Chen's guess was right. The Seekong family had indeed obtained many treasures before, so they would not let the Great Sage Tower explore them now. At this moment, a powerhouse from the Seekong family said, this kid is trying to trick us. He's trying to sow discord between us. He wants to reap the benefits without doing anything. That's right, I'm trying to sow discord. Besides, I lied before. The Seekong family did not obtain anything. Let's not make things difficult for the Seekong family. Lin Xian shrugged. The expressions of the surrounding powerhouses darkened when they heard this. How could this be? When they saw the changes in the faces of the space-time family members, they knew that something was wrong. Therefore, these people's expressions turned cold, and their auras became stronger. No matter what happened before, they had to work together to break the remaining seals and split the treasures. Otherwise, don't blame them for being rude. Don't go too far. This is our Great Sage Tower. Humph. So what if it's your Great Sage Tower? If you're not convinced, then let's fight. The powerhouses of the Dragon Valley were the most hot-tempered and attacked directly. With a boom, a great battle broke out. The Seekong family members were also furious. Did they think they were afraid of them? They unleashed all kinds of heaven and earth vision to contend with the physical body of the Dragon Clan. A shocking collision occurred, and a terrifying force swept in all directions. Since that's the case, I won't hold back. The Eight-Wind Palace, the Dark Moon Palace, the Vermilion Bird Palace, and the surrounding sages had all made their moves. For a time, the Seekong clan received an extremely severe blow. Although these people's strength had been suppressed by 30%, and they had the bonus of their bloodline, there were simply too many experts around. For a time, they were beaten back repeatedly and vomited blood. Damn it, let's fight! The members of the Seekong clan roared madly, while Lin Xian and the others retreated into the distance. Looking at this scene, they sneered again and again. Hee, the Seekong clan would probably vomit blood from anger this time. Serves them right. Who told them to join hands to deal with us earlier? Now let them have a taste of being beaten up by a crowd. Since the battle had already started, it probably wouldn't stop for a while. Therefore, Lin Xian didn't pay attention to it and let these people fight each other. He still had his own goals. He raised his head and looked at the statue of the great sage at the very top. His next step was to seize the statue of the great god. Thinking of this, Lin Xian retracted his aura. His figure flashed, and he directly rushed to the top. The Crimson Dragon and the others also quickly followed. Soon, they left the battle area below and came to the top. Here, the statue of the great sage seemed to suppress everything. There weren't any terrifying energy fluctuations in the surroundings. When they arrived here, they all felt their hearts sink. They finally arrived near the statue and looked at it carefully. This statue wasn't very big. It looked like it was carved from a real person. Although they didn't know who carved it, the aura made everyone know that all of this wasn't simple. The statue had the appearance of a man. He had a burly figure, a square face, and long hair that reached his shoulders. At a glance, he looked like an unparalleled god of war. Was this the great sage of the Seacombe clan? Lin Xian and the others were shocked, looking at the other party's disdainful appearance. He indeed cultivated the righteous chi of heaven and earth. Should I take this thing? Lin Xian stretched out his hand and grabbed in front of him. Soon, he enveloped the statue of the great sage with light. However, he didn't succeed. This was because the statue of the great sage was abnormally heavy. No matter how much power he exerted, he couldn't move it at all. Lin Xian furrowed his brows while the people around him sucked in a breath of cold air. This statue of the great sage was really too mysterious. At that moment, they heard a scream. From below, it was the people of the Seacombe clan. They were covered in blood. Many of them were seriously injured. Some of them even turned into human form from the blood mist. Their expressions were extremely ugly. The battle just now had caused them to suffer heavy losses. Therefore, an elder said, "All right, let's stop fighting. I'm going to hand over some of the treasures." As he said that, he took off his storage ring and threw out all the things inside. In an instant, many treasures appeared. Pills, weapons, spirit herbs, and crystals appeared in the surroundings. Those people's eyes instantly turned red. The Crimson Dragon also exclaimed. His eyes were burning. Damn it, the people of the Seacombe clan really have good things. Lin Xian sneered. Idiot. Yan Ryu also sighed. Yes, if they didn't hand over the treasures, there would be no evidence. Perhaps the fight would end in the end. However, these people were probably in a killing frenzy now. Indeed, the surrounding powerhouses instantly divided up the treasures. However, they didn't leave. Instead, their eyes were red. They stared at the people of the Seacombe clan. An elder actually had so many things in a storage ring. You have so many storage rings. Hurry up and hand them all over. They were really too greedy. Damn it, don't push your luck. The people of the Seacombe clan were also angry. They had originally thought that they would take a step back. If they took out a portion of the treasures and gave them away, these people would stop. However, they didn't expect these people to be so greedy. No matter how strong these people were, even if they were sages, they were still humans. Although their strength transcended the heavens and earth, humans were greedy creatures. Now that they had tasted the sweetness, how could they stop? As expected, the people of the Dragon Valley and Eight Wind Hall attacked even more fiercely. Every move was fatal. They wanted to kill the people of the Seacombe clan and seize all the treasures of the Seacombe clan. As expected, the battle that followed was even more terrifying. The people of the Seacombe clan were injured even more severely. They were about to be wiped out. At this moment, the people of the Seacombe clan roared crazily. Damn it, you've gone too far. Since you want to kill us, don't blame me for being merciless. At worst, we'll all die together. After saying that, he waved his hand, and the blood of countless powerhouses flew out and merged into the surrounding Great Sage Tower. Many of them knelt down respectfully and shouted loudly, Please show your spirit and destroy these strong enemies. They directly knelt down in the sky. Chapter 3391. After the walls of the Great Sage Tower absorbed the blood of the Seacombe family experts, they suddenly lit up and formed terrifying blood-red patterns. Then they turned into lightning and charged over. Boom! The blood-red lightning danced in the air and cracked. Then the experts of the Vermilion Bird Palace and the Eight-Wind Palace screamed. They were directly split open, and countless lightning cracks appeared on their bodies. The others, such as those from the Dragon Valley and the Dark Moon Temple, felt their scalps go numb. The blood-red lightning around them kept rushing over, as if it had turned into a blood-red sea of lightning. It was extremely terrifying. The Grand Ancestor had appeared. Our Great Sage had appeared. The Seacombe family members were covered in blood and pale. Many of them had already fallen to the ground and were twitching. However, when they saw this scene, they were incomparably excited. Their hearts were fanatical. The Great Sage had finally appeared to save them. Damn it. How could this be? Could it be that the Great Sage was not completely dead? The expressions of the surrounding experts all changed. A few of the sages even shouted coldly and split open the terrifying lightning. Then they quickly charged over. At the same time, the statue of the Great Sage above moved. An extremely terrifying aura surged down. It was a righteous aura that formed a huge seal that descended from the sky. With a boom, 2 sages were directly sent flying. The 2 sages screamed as their bodies were split in half. They hurriedly dragged their corpses and fled into the distance, their eyes filled with fear. What was that? There was actually something here that could threaten them. The others also looked up. They saw that there was a statue of the Great Sage above, standing there and suppressing everything. Moreover, Lin Xian and the others were standing near the statue of the Great Sage. Damn it. How did that kid go there? Could it be that he was the one who launched the attack just now? No, that was a righteous aura. Was it from the Seacombe family? Which statue did it come from? Could it be that the brat was there for the statue of the Great Sage? At the thought of this, many people's eyes instantly turned red. If they could obtain the Great Sage's statue and comprehend the secrets within, perhaps they could obtain the Great Sage's inheritance. In an instant, many people rushed over. However, at this moment, the Great Sage's statue also showed its power. The righteous chi kept gushing out in all directions, hitting the people who wanted to get close, causing them to scream miserably. The hearts of Lin Xian and the others pounded wildly. Just the aura released by the Great Sage statue was already so terrifying. If he really unleashed his full power, the power would be unimaginable. Even a statue was so powerful, he wondered how terrifying a true Great Sage would be. Everyone exclaimed in surprise. At the same time, they also felt a sense of relief, because at that moment, they were floating beside the statue of the Great Sage. It could be said that they were standing side by side with the statue and not beneath the feet of the Great Sage. Therefore, he was not attacked by the righteous spirit. However, their hearts were still beating wildly. Who knew if the statue of the Great Sage would suddenly attack them? The Crimson Dragon frowned. Brat, hurry up and think of a way to get that thing away. Otherwise, more and more people would target them. At that time, it would be troublesome to make a move. Lin Xian also said, "Of course I know, but this thing is too strange. I can't even lift it." His face was a little pale. With the power of his divine body, what couldn't he lift? But the statue of the Great Sage didn't budge. Buzz. The sages below rushed over once more, trying to get close to the statue of the Great Sage. Because to them, The great sage's inheritance must be hidden in the statue of the great sage. Therefore, their eyes turned red. Blood surrounded their bodies, and some of them were even about to activate their bloodline. Seeing this, Lin Xian was extremely anxious. But at this moment, the great dragon's sword soul suddenly flew out and pierced towards the statue of the great sage. This scene was truly too sudden. It was so sudden that even Lin Xian was shocked. The crimson dragon, Yan Ruyu, and the others screamed. What was going on? Could it be that Lin Xian had made a move? They turned around and saw Lin Xian's shocked face. In a flash, the great dragon sword spirit collided with the statue of the great sage. Then it released a shocking amount of energy. A terrifying sword wave swept out in all directions, and the righteous spirit of heaven and earth surged wildly. A crack appeared on the statue of the great sage, and it spread out in all directions. Lin Xian gasped. The statue of the great sage was broken? What was going on? Beside him, the crimson dragon screamed. Kid, what the hell are you doing? Lin Xian said. I didn't do it. The great dragon sword spirit took the initiative to attack. What? Hearing this, Yan Ruyu and the others were stunned. The crimson dragon was even more stunned. He had never encountered such a situation before. Indeed, Lin Xian was extremely confused, but soon his eyelids twitched and golden runes appeared in his eyes. He stared at the statue of the great sage. No, there's something in the statue. Look, Lin Xian exclaimed. The hearts of the dark red divine dragon, and the other two thumped wildly. They unleashed their powers to resist that terrifying and overwhelming aura. In the next moment, they saw the statue of the great sage crack open, and a figure appeared inside. It was also a man with a dignified face. His black hair fell to his shoulders, and he had a terrifying aura. He looked exactly like the statue. What's going on? Why is there another person in the statue? Is it another statue? Or is it the corpse of the great sage? Thinking of this, their hearts beat wildly. In the next moment, their expressions changed, because they realized that the eyes of the figure in the statue of the great god were shining. One was as black as ink, and the other was as red as blood. What kind of eyes were those? Moreover, the color of the eyes was really strange. Among them, the eyes of the crimson and red eyes moved. Everyone's hair stood on end, and they retreated frantically. The eyes of the statue that seemed to be the corpse of the great sage actually moved. Could it be that the other party was not dead? The other party was alive. Thinking of this, their scalps were about to split open. A living great sage. Dear heavens, something big was about to happen. Retreat quickly, Lin Xian roared, and quickly retreated. However, it was already too late. That blood-red eyeball turned, and immediately a frightening aura was emitted from its body. It swept in all directions. The entire great sage tower shook violently. This scene stunned the powerhouses of the Fane of Darkness and the Dragon Valley. Only the people of the Sikong family were stunned at first, but then they were overjoyed. The patriarch had performed a miracle. The patriarch's remnant soul was still here. Welcome the patriarch. They knelt on the ground and kept worshipping. The bloodline power in their bodies surged rapidly. Chapter 3392. Damn it, what was going on? How could this be? Many experts were dumbfounded. Many of them looked up, their bodies trembling. The great sage statue had been revived. Many people gasped when they heard this. Some of them shook their heads. Impossible. How could a statue be revived? However, they saw that some of the saints were retreating in fear. Indeed, a few sages had wanted to snatch the great sage statue because they thought that it contained the great sage's legacy. But now they were being pushed out by an extremely terrifying force. They even saw the eyes of the great god statue twitch. This made their hair stand on end. Buzz! The great sage tower shook even more violently. The red light in the eyes of the great sage statue suddenly shone brightly, covering the 9 heavens and 10 lands. In the next moment, everyone inside was enveloped. Oh no! They resisted like crazy. Boom! They were hit into the void and disappeared. Yenryu and the others also exclaimed and disappeared. Lin Xian's great dragon sword soul roared and cut off the red light. It completely enveloped Lin Xian. In the next moment, Lin Xian frowned. His face was incomparably gloomy because he realized that other than him, everyone in the great sage tower had disappeared. Were they all killed? But very quickly, he shook his head. That was impossible. Yenryu's trump card was in no way inferior to his great dragon sword soul. Therefore, they should not have been killed. If they suddenly disappeared, it was very likely that they were teleported away. Thinking of this, his face was gloomy. It was not only the 3rd level, the 2nd level, and even the people on the 1st level were all enveloped by the red light and disappeared. Outside, the people who had yet to enter also saw the great sage tower shake violently. What was going on? What happened inside? They were extremely shocked. Could it be that there was a shocking battle inside? That the great sage tower was shaking? Before they had time to think, the great sage tower shook violently, causing the 9 heavens and 10 lands to collapse. In the next moment, all the foreign experts in the Void Sea were teleported out. Outside the Void Sea, countless experts were waiting there. They were all people from the various large clans who were prepared to welcome them. At this moment, the faces of these people from the sects were relaxed. Many people sat on spirit boats or demonic beasts, sipping tea and discussing the Tao. I wonder how these little fellows are doing inside. A white-haired old man said with flickering eyes. His hair was very long, hanging down to his feet. It was incomparably white and carried a strange aura. This was a grand elder of the Sikong family. There was a glimmer of hope in his eyes. Hopefully, they'd be able to find the whereabouts of the great sages. Don't worry, Elder, we're well prepared this time. Many experts are going in. And this time, even Sikong Jing, who had a pure bloodline, had gone in. There would definitely be no problem. The other members of the Sikong clan also said with a smile. Hearing this, the Grand Elder nodded, picked up the spirit tea beside him, and slowly tasted it. On the other side, the powerful beings of the Dragon Valley were also chatting and laughing. They were very confident in their lineup and the strength of their powerhouses. They didn't think that anything unexpected would happen. Boom, boom, boom. Suddenly, a violent trembling sound was heard. The void ocean in front of them suddenly surged with waves, crashing in all directions. A terrifying force spread across the universe. What's going on? What's happening? The surrounding powerful beings of the large sects all stopped talking and stood up one by one. The people of the Sikong family frowned. Could the changes in the void ocean have something to do with the great sages they were looking for? Before they could figure it out, countless cracks appeared in the void ocean. Then figures flew out from the cracks. They're out. After seeing those figures, many people were stunned. They realized that they were all their people. These people had already come out, but it shouldn't be. They came out earlier than they expected. Sure enough, these people were adventurers from the void ocean. After flying out, they felt dizzy and had sunken eyes. Then they regained their strength. They looked around vigilantly. However, when they saw the elders of their respective families, they were all stunned. Damn it, what's going on? Why did I come out? They were all dumbfounded. The elders and powerful beings were even more confused. They hurriedly asked, "What happened? Why did you come out early?" The powerful beings of the Dragon Valley, 8 Wind Palace, and Dark Red Palace all came forward to look for their people. Many people returned to their own camps. Among them, some of them screamed, "What's going on? Where's Yulingzi?" The people of the Dark Moon Palace were the first to scream. This was because they realized that their most outstanding prodigy, Yulingzi, who had entered this time, had disappeared. When the others heard this, they sucked in a breath of cold air. Yulingzi was a renowned, peerless genius. Could it be that something had happened to him? Did a sage do it? The others sucked in a breath of cold air. At this moment, another scream was heard. "Damn it, where's Longshan?" The others were stunned again. Longshan was one of the peerless geniuses of the Dragon Valley. He was not inferior to Yulingzi. Moreover, his body was so strong that it could be said that no one could compare to him. Now, he had disappeared too? Many people gloated. They didn't expect that two top geniuses would die in the void ocean. However, soon, they were stunned again. It wasn't just two geniuses. In the end, they were all trembling. After that, the people from the Ba, Huang Palace, and the Si Kong clan started to scream. They were the top geniuses of the Ba Huang Palace, Si Kong Jing, Huang Batian, and the others had also disappeared. Impossible, right? The surrounding elders all sucked in a breath of cold air. It was normal for one or two peerless geniuses to die. After all, accidents happened all the time. But now, all the geniuses of the major families and sects had disappeared. This was unusual. Who killed them? Damn it, who killed them? The people of the major sects stared at the sages around them. In their opinion, only a sage could kill so many geniuses at the same time. However, the powerful beings of their respective sects knelt on the ground and cried hysterically. The elders were not sages. It was Lin Wudi who killed Yulingzi. What? Lin Wudi? On the other side, the people of the Dragon Valley were gnashing their teeth in anger. It was Lin Wudi who killed Longshan. The people around them were stunned. It was Lin Wudi again. Lin Wudi was too strong, wasn't he? He killed two top geniuses in one go. Huang Batian was also killed by Lin Wudi. The powerful beings of the Eight-Wind Palace looked extremely cold. The others were even more dumbfounded. The powerful beings of the Vermilion Bird Palace gritted their teeth and said, "Damn it, it was Lin Wudi who killed several of our geniuses." Everyone was numb. It was all Lin Wudi's doing. Wait, they looked at the Sikong family. Where was Sikong Jing? Could it be Lin Wudi's doing as well? Chapter 3393. They didn't think it was possible. They knew that the Sikong clan was not ordinary and had an inexplicable connection with the Void Ocean. In the past, the experts of the Void family who had entered had their bloodline strengthened, and their strength was much stronger than those outside. Therefore, they all looked at the Sikong clan. The Grand Elder of the Sikong clan stood up with a solemn expression. The surrounding powerhouses were also very anxious. However, the people that came out were all covered in blood. Their complexions were incomparably pale. They gritted their teeth and said, "Lin Wudi killed Jing, what? Is it really Lin Wudi again?" The people around the Void Ocean were in an uproar. Everyone was going crazy. Lin Wudi was very powerful. No one could compare to him among the half-saints. It was even rumored that Yen Nantian, the successor of the great emperor, was no match for him. It could be said that his name resounded throughout the ancient path of the stars. But no matter how powerful he was still a young half-saint. This time, so many top geniuses from the great sects had brought many powerhouses. There were saints among them. Could it be that they couldn't stop Lin Wudi? What happened? Did Lin Wudi fight those people alone? They didn't know. The Grand Elder of the Sikong clan roared at the sky. His white hair danced wildly in the wind, and his eyes were terrifying. The murderous aura on his body was too terrifying. At this moment, He was like a god of death floating in the void, causing the people around him to tremble. Those from the Seacombe clan even knelt on the ground. The Grand Elder floated in the void. His piercing voice resounded in all directions. "Where is Lin Wuti? Get over here." His voice was like thousands of sword chi, causing everyone's scalps to tingle. Everyone's hearts trembled, and they unconsciously looked in one direction. That direction was where the people of the Langya Star were. They knew that Lin Wuti had come with the people of the Langya Star. At this moment, he should have returned to that place. Countless gazes looked in that direction. In the next moment, they were stunned. They saw the powerhouses from the Langya Star standing there. However, they didn't see Lin Wuti. They only saw the dragon with Lin Wuti, Yenryu, and the North Demon. However, Lin Wuti had disappeared. Where is Lin Wuti? Could it be that he had perished together with those geniuses? This was what everyone was thinking. They felt that if this was the case, it was still acceptable. We don't know. When we were teleported out, that kid wasn't dead yet. Maybe he's still in the Great Sage Tower. The powerhouse from the Seacombe clan said in a deep voice. What? When the others heard this, they were all stunned and looked at the Seacombe clan one after another. The Grand Elder was also stunned. He floated down excitedly, and the killing intent on his body was still very strong. The Great Sage Pagoda? Could it be that the Great Sage Pagoda belonged to the Seacombe clan? That's right. After going through untold hardships, we finally found our Great Sage Tower. We went in, and it was full of treasures. The people from the Seacombe clan quickly recounted what had happened. When they heard that there really was a Great Sage Tower inside, they were all stunned. This was because it was only a rumor that the great saint of the Seacombe clan had entered the Void Sea. That was something from tens of thousands of years ago. Even if someone had seen it, after so many years, those who had seen it with their own eyes had long since died and turned into dust. Now, what these people heard were only legends. They didn't think that the Seacombe clan had a supreme saint. But now, the Great Sage Pagoda had appeared. This meant that the Seacombe clan really had a supreme saint. Moreover, they had really entered the Void Sea. What's going on? What's with the injuries on your bodies? Could it be that you encountered a sea demon? Or was Lin Wuti the one who injured you? The Grand Elder looked at the people from the Seacombe clan and frowned. The others were also very puzzled. That was right. They had only just noticed that among the people who came out, the Seacombe clan members were the ones with the heaviest injuries. But how was that possible? Hadn't they entered the Great Sage Pagoda? Didn't their own Great Sage Pagoda have protective measures? It wasn't Lin Wuti. It was them. One of the powerhouses stood up, his expression incomparably gloomy. He pointed at the Vermilion Bird Palace, 8 Desolate Hall, Dragon Valley, and Dark Moon Temple. These people wanted our treasures, so they joined forces to attack us. We narrowly escaped death, and were almost killed. If we hadn't used the power of our bloodlines to activate the Great Sage Pagoda, we would have all died by now. What? The surrounding people were stunned. The other powerhouses' mouths also twitched. There was actually such a thing. It was really too shocking. The 8 Desolate Hall and the other sects who had attacked frowned. Among them, the powerhouses who had originally received them also felt their eyelids twitch wildly. What was going on? Why did they suddenly join forces to attack the Seacombe clan? And in the Great Sage Pagoda, what was going on? Those people looked embarrassed. Among them, the powerhouse from the Vermilion Bird Palace sneered. "Ha! I think this is a misunderstanding. We were all deceived by Lin Wuti before. Lin Wuti instigated us to fight. That's why we fought." What? Lin Wuti again? The others were stunned. This young man was too terrifying. First, he had killed so many geniuses from the large sections. Then, he had instigated internal strife between the large sections. What about the other side? Had the other side taken advantage of the situation? Humph! Hearing that, The people from the Seacombe clan snorted coldly. Damn it. Even if Lin Wuti had instigated it, in the end, these people had attacked because they were greedy. The Grand Elder looked at the large sects of the Vermilion Bird Palace and temporarily suppressed the killing intent in his heart. After all, it wasn't good to fall out with them now. There were too many sects that had attacked, and none of them were weaker than the Seacombe clan. It was very unwise to make enemies with all of them at the same time. Therefore, he snorted coldly in his heart. This matter would be settled later. The most important thing now was the Great Sage Pagoda. How was it? Seeing that the people from the Seacombe clan didn't immediately get angry, the surrounding people were also speechless. It seemed that the older the ginger, the spicier it was. They weren't willing to suffer a loss when the odds were against them. The people from the Vermilion Bird Palace heaved a sigh of relief. Although they had attacked first, when the time came, they could just return to their sect and cultivate in seclusion for a few hundred years. The Seacombe clan wouldn't be able to do anything to them. Everyone pricked up their ears because they also wanted to know what had happened to the Great Sage Pagoda. According to these people, there were treasures in the Great Sage Pagoda. Any one of them could tempt a saint. However, the news that followed made them stunned, because the people from the Seacombe clan directly said that they didn't know. They had used the power of their bloodlines to activate the Great Sage Pagoda. The Great Sage statue seemed to have awakened, but it shot out a red light and teleported everyone out. What? How could this be? You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.